to everyone from Kewanee High School. We've got football action tonight as the Kewanee Boilermakers will play host to Hall Township, the Red Devils, and all the action here on the Boilermaker live stream. Hello, everybody. I'm Bob McKee along with Steve Osborne, and very nice to have you with us here on this Friday evening. Oh, my friend, good to see you as always.
Always happy to be here, Bob, and seems like we were just in the gym, but that's been like 6-8 months ago already. Time just flies.
Yes, it really does. And when you get to be in my age, it really
that's something we could tell the younger you. Enjoy it now because it goes fast.
Boy, ain't that the truth. Well, in any event, the season is moving right along, and unfortunately for the Boilermakers, it has not been the best of seasons. They'll come in tonight with a record of 0-4. The Red Devils will come in with a season record of 2-2, and we'll get to a little bit of that business here in just a moment. But first of all, let's mention to you our Boiler Booster live stream sponsors. They include Gustafson Ford of Kewanee, OSF St. Luke Medical Center in Kewanee, Great Dane of Kewanee, the Community State Bank, Galva and Kewanee, Kewanee Physical Therapy and Rehab Specialist, Martin Engineering of Neponset, the Kewanee Schools Foundation, Edward Jones in downtown Kewanee, Cernovich's Auto and Truck Wrecking of Kewanee, the People's National Bank, Cerno's Bar and Grill, and Coco's Coffee Shop, both in downtown Kewanee, the Mel Foster Company, Breedlove Sporting Goods in downtown Kewanee, Ed Morse Automotive Group, Chevy and GM of Kewanee, Hammond Henry Hospital, Geneseo and Kewanee, Union Federal Savings and Loan, Goods Furniture of Kewanee, and the State Bank of Tulane. Thanks to those wonderful sponsors for stepping forward and helping to make our broadcast a possibility. And they're also sponsors of the Jumbotron in the Brockman Gymnasium, which many of you have seen in action through our volleyball schedule so far. If you haven't, you need to make it a point to get in and take a look at it because it really is a really, really neat deal. In any event, the Red Devils are here in town tonight. They had a squeaker of a victory last week against Sherrard, 18-15, the final there. Unfortunately, Steve, not much in terms of the scoreboard has gone the way of the Boilers this year.
No, I was doing some research, looking at how they've done so far this year as far as points, and I hate to say it, but they've given up 50 a game where they're only scoring 8 a game. So you know that's something to work on both sides of the ball for Coach Taylor.
No question about it. And Steve, you know, the one of the storylines has to be for the team. And of course, these are all young fellows, and so maybe they bounces off of them differently than it does some of us that aren't quite so young. But does the losing wear on you after a while, or is it just you're young and you bounce back and you're right out there and let's go again?
Well, it can wear on you, and as a coach, you try not to let it bother them too much, because when it gets to be too much for them, you get to that point where they don't care, and you never want to get there if you're a coach. And that's definitely not happened with the Boilers yet. It's not a matter of an effort. It's just hasn't happened for them. And with that being said, they're a very young team, so you're almost actually using this year as a learning year. And we were just talking about Hall. You mentioned Hall being 2-2. They're actually playing their third winless team in a row.
Oh.
So, I mean, they're out for their third victory, and but they're not that much different than Kewanee. So, there's a chance for the Boilers this week. And Kewanee, I think, has a big part of the hardest part of the schedule behind them, except for maybe Newman, whereas Hall's just coming into they still have to play Riverdale, Rockridge, Newman, and Princeton. So they'll be looking for a victory tonight. Might be their last shot, but Kewanee's just got to keep working, and they've got some talent, but you have to make it happen on the field.
You know, you had mentioned the fact that it's a young team, and I hadn't really looked at that real closely. There are a couple of seniors that'll play somewhat prominent roles, I would suggest, here this evening. A couple of linemen and also a defensive player. That would be the case at the cornerback positions, the linebacker. So you do have a couple of those, but you're absolutely right. It looks like about, I'd say, a good 85 to 90% of that starting roster are all underclassmen. So if that's the case, then certainly you hope the year can be considered kind of a building block.
Exactly, and Coach Taylor and his staff, that's going to be their biggest job coming up, is not necessarily the football part of it. They're going to have to get between those kids' ears and and then make sure they know how this feels, losing, and you don't want to experience that again in the years to come. You want to learn the football. You want to learn just get the experience and keep them positive so they get in the weight room and they do all the extra work for next year.
Well, and you would think that certainly would be an opportune time for the offseason to get the message across, and you'll find out who really wants to move forward with it, because certainly the message will have to be, look, we need to get bigger, faster, stronger. That would indicate the weight room, maybe some extra conditioning, and of course, some of the guys will be playing basketball and maybe some of the spring sports. But you got to think that the message from the football coaching staff will be, again, let's hit the weight room, let's get the legs a little bit stronger, let's see if we can't get ourselves in sync a little bit better. But for those guys that are going to answer that call, certainly this year's experience moving forward, that's going to play a big part.
And that's where the part I mentioned earlier about not caring. I mean, if you don't care, you don't care what happens the rest of this year, and you don't want to go in and put in the extra work in the weight room and all that type of stuff. But if Coach Taylor and his other coaches, keep them in the right frame of mind, they'll get in there and do the work. That shouldn't be a problem. They'll come out next year and be much better, because quite frankly, this year, like we said, is a building year. They're more than likely not going to go to the playoffs. They'd have to run off 5 straight, and I don't think that's a secret that they're not going to do that. So, you just want to see them come out and perform and get better each week.
Yeah, it'd be surprising if they were to run off 5 straight, given how things have gone. I have to take this opportunity. First of all, the Kewanee High School band is down on the field, as you're likely seeing. The cheers, the palms, and everybody. But I have to point this guy out. Down there playing bass on the field is my man, Cameron Bates. Now, Cameron and I are good buddies. We're both bass players, and he and I talk shop at times, and we kind of go back and forth. But I'm telling you what, that Cameron Bates, I'm telling you what, he is a cat, and that is all there is to it. He is the man.
Is he better than you, Bob?
I would suggest that he is.
Okay.
See that? I mean, just check this guy out, man. He's playing. He's into it.
Yep.
He is the man. Look at that. All right, buddy. Keep up the good work.
He attacks that bass from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, he really does. He gets after it. And one thing I like, he plays with his fingers, not a pick. And that's the way I do it as well.
I said, does that make a big difference?
It does. It's a stylization thing. But in some songs, it's one of those things for me. Of course, I've been a bass player for 987 years now, but I can listen
to 1,000.
Yeah, me and Methuselah. But I can tell a song where the bass player is using a pick and when he's not. It makes a little bit of a different sound. It's a little bit of a different style. But I'm telling you, Cameron is the man. He's bad, ladies and gentlemen.
Is he like a sophomore or junior? Or?
He's a senior.
Oh, he is a senior now. Okay.
I believe. I hope I'm wrong, because I hope he's going to be around in school.
See, there's that time flying again.
Yeah, just a little bit longer. But he's a really good guy. And, again, as he and I talk shop relative to the world of bass guitar, it's just a neat thing. But anyway, as you're looking down on the field, you can see it's a wonderful display down there. And, Steve, we're just a couple of weeks away from homecoming, when the display will really be big time.
Yeah, we'll be here for the Sherrard game that night. Another chance for a Boiler victory. And homecoming is kind of a double-edged sword, Bob. You can come in thinking about anything but football, or you can come in really focused and want to win the homecoming game. So just another thing that these kids have to learn and the coaches have to convey to them.
That is certainly the case. And well, let's see. I guess we're going to get to the school song, so we'll stop talking for a moment while everyone kind of takes this all in, I guess. Well, as that goes on, I guess we might be able to talk through it just a little bit, but I do have some experience in this area. When I was a senior, our team that year, we went 0-8-1. And the only game that we were in was our homecoming game, and we were all jacked up for that game. And we were out. And get this, the team we played that night was the best team in the conference. We played them to a scoreless tie.
There you go.
And our fastest running back, who nobody could stay with at that particular time, on one play, he had broken loose in the middle of the field. This was, I don't know, maybe mid-third quarter somewhere in there, still scoreless. He broke loose, and he was in the clear, but he didn't kick the burners on. He says, I thought I had him beat.
Oh.
Guy grabbed his ankle from behind, and he went down. He says, if I'd have known he's there, he says, I would have kicked it. He'd never touched me.
We'd have won 6-0.
Well, who knows? But
who knows, right? But there's something to be said for motivation and effort and, just giving your all.
Yeah, absolutely right. So I'm seeing some smoke on that stand over there. Is that accurate?
Is that even on the lights?
Well, I'm not sure. Or is it coming from maybe the over in the cemetery? But that doesn't.
They very well might have a grill over there.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, anyway,
I see what you're talking about.
I'm puzzled, I guess, as much as anything. But in any event, and I guess my point with the 08-1 season was it was a tough one. I mean, quite obviously it was a tough one. Yet at the same time, when homecoming came for us, it made us sky high. We played our best of the season. And as you're talking about with homecoming, that can go either way.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's see. I think we're getting ready for our national anthem here, maybe.
I believe you're right.
Welcome to this evening's Three Rivers Conference football game between the Hull Red Devils and your Kewanee Boilermakers. We at Kewanee High School embrace the athletic traditions that exist in the Three Rivers Conference. The goal of our coaches and athletes should be to work to their best of their abilities, nothing more, nothing less. Please join us in upholding the principles of good sportsmanship, no matter what your personal loyalties may be. Good luck to each player, and may the best team win. The colors tonight will be presented by our local VFW post 8078. Please rise, gentlemen. Kindly move the
All right, again, we'll have the presentation of the colors and the national anthem, and then we'll be back here with the start of our game in just a moment. So stick around here, if you would, please.
Shabbat.
That is your state champion, Kewanee High School Boilermaker Band out on the field. And Steve is a musician, having played down on the field before. I can tell you that is the stiffest challenge of all, because when you're down on the field, you almost think you're the only person out there. And if you stop and listen, you really truly do think you're the only person out there, and it makes you a little tentative. The fact that there was none of that at all evident in what they just did out on the field speaks to how good they really are. Because if you stop and kind of listen or, double check yourself, it's too late.
And it's noticeable, right?
It is.
And that means I really, I do not like, I shouldn't say hate, but I really do not like this word cohesive. But that's what they are, a cohesive unit. I don't know why, but that's just me, but that's the best way to describe them.
When you say cohesive, for some reason, I'm thinking of that Gorilla Glue commercial. I don't know why. So, I guess the adhesive part, but
right.
But it is a challenge, though, when you play down on the field like that, because you're the only instrument that you can hear, and you just wonder, well, how is this coming off?
Right.
With the rest of the band, how's it coming off? Period. And so again, you just have to do your thing and hope that it comes through. But again, with that presentation, they show just how good they really are.
I can quite honestly say I've never done that. I was never in the band, so I trust 100% what you're saying, Bob.
Well, and I truly believe this. Music has always been a major part of my life ever since I was a boy, and it continues to this point in time, and I can attest to this statement being true. As a person, you don't choose music. Music chooses you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I'm glad it chose me. It's been a lifelong thing, and it just it continues to sort of make my world go, amongst other things. But So to see these young people out here performing and sounding that good, that to me is just really, really impressive.
Well, and as far as me, I just, sports kind of chose me. It just it was in my family, and that's what we did, and then here I am. So
plus, I think you're a former acrobat and a skydiver, aren't you?
Maybe the girls in the family, not me.
I see. A friend here in town was into skydiving and knew a lot about that. And he was telling me that up around LaSalle, they do a lot of jumping out of planes, and they land at a spot down there around that LaSalle, Peru, Utica area over in there. And the heck of it is, he says sometimes when they're coming across the river from the west, they'll dive from there, and they float all the way into that area. Here recently, they had some kind of national championships or something over in that area with that business. So
near Ottawa. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, out in that general area.
The general area, correct.
That Illinois Valley area, if you will. Well, enough about skydiving. We got football in front of us here. We are just about set to get this one underway. The Boilers will be kicking off as we look down on the field. Kewanee going right to left to start things off. And the Red Devils back the other way, left to right. It's a north-south field, as you know. So the Boilers working towards that north end zone.
Exactly. And I think, we were talking about motivation and, getting a boost or whatever. If they could get a stop here and get the ball back and actually maybe get a lead, that would really help them in this game.
Momentum can be a big deal, can it?
Yes.
All right, the Boilers to kick off here. Here's the approach, and off we go. The Red Devils will field this right at about the 20-yard line. It's going to be picked up there by Braden Curran. Out across the 30, across the 35, going to be brought down at about the 36-yard line. Red Devils will go to work first and 10 there. Their quarterback is Dylan Glenn. Running backs are Braden Curran, Jack Curran, and Aiden Redcliffe. Wide receivers are Hunter Corsalini and Hunter Edgecombe. And the tight end is Chase Sterling.
I believe he's a sizable young man. What's he, like 6'4", 210?
Who's that, the quarterback?
No, Chase Sterling, the tight end. And I think he's only a sophomore, if I looked at that correctly.
6'4", 210 sophomore. You are correct. Red Devils will start with two receivers off to the far side left, two to the near side right. Quarterback again will be Dylan Glenn. He's going to work from the shotgun with a running back to his right. Long count. There's a snap. Handoff right up the gut. Up to about the 39-yard line or so. And it will be a pickup that time of about 3. Call it 2nd down and 7. Boiler defense did a nice job of collapsing to the play that time.
I was going to say, if they can just do that all night, just keep them to short games and not let anyone break a long one, they'll be in pretty good shape defensively.
All right, it's going to be 2nd down and 7 for the Red Devils from the Hall Township 39-yard line. Wide receivers on either side, flankers on either side. Once again, the quarterback is Dylan Glenn. He's going to go from the shotgun. They're going to send a man in motion down the line, and we've got penalty flags before this play can get underway.
I believe that was motion on Hall.
And that was Braden Curran, the running back, going down the line. But, Steve, you called it. Going to be a 5-yarder on Hall. They'll take the line of scrimmage back to the 34-yard line of the Red Devils.
Did you know that these are the two biggest football playing schools in the track?
Really?
Yeah. I mean, of course, Kewanee with the 1 enrollment, and Hall actually adds Putnam County.
That's right. You're right.
For football, so they're the biggest in football, and their quarterback is actually from Putnam County, Dylan Glenn.
Well, that's certainly a nice addition for them from the spread. Wides and slots both sides. Glenn from the shotgun with a running back to his left. Fake the handoff inside. Glenn tries to turn the corner going to the left side, and he's going to slip and fall down and probably lose about a yard in the process.
Now, he did not get touched right there, Bob, but it was Kewanee's defensive end on that side that kept him from getting outside, so when he tried to turn inside, he actually slipped and went down.
Yeah, it's going to be a loss of a yard. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 13 for the Red Devils from the Hall 33-yard line.
Couldn't be more important right here than, for Kewanee to get off the field right here. That'll be a big plus for them.
You mentioned that at the start, and that momentum thing certainly would be a big deal. And for the Boilers, momentum right now would be a really big deal.
Well, earlier games I've seen them having trouble getting off the field and getting pushed back on these type of plays. They just need to stop right here.
3 receivers left, 1 to the near side right.
Delay a game.
And it's going to be a delay of game.
Push them back a little farther.
And it looks like, no, they're going to, was it a delay or is there going to be a timeout called?
Oh, he must have got, because he did throw his flag. They must have got the timeout first.
He got it in just in the nick of time. But, Steve, your comments are very, very prescient so far. And at the moment, and of course the Boilers have yet to touch the ball, but right now the arrow's kind of pointing in Kiwani's direction.
Well, I'm wondering who, I didn't see, I don't know, maybe you did, who won the flip. I mean, I wonder if Kiwani won the flip and decided to take the ball in the second half, or
I did not see the.
I
did not see the coin toss, and for many faithful listeners over the course of many years, when the late Steve Peart and I used to call games, it was our time-honored tradition that we never saw the coin flip.
Just like now, we're always too busy talking.
Yeah,
so.
We didn't know. So Steve, we're carrying on that tradition.
There you go.
Anyway, 3 to the near side right, 1 to the far side left for Hall. Glenn from the shotgun takes the snap. Back to throw. He's going to take off and run to the left side. Throws on the run upfield, and he's going to be incomplete. And that's a tough one for Hall. Chase Sterling, the tight end, was wide open, and that ball was just simply overthrown.
Yeah, I think what happened is he kind of stopped. You see it in the pros all the time. He kind of stopped and spot up, and the quarterback thought he was going to keep going.
And I'll tell you who I've seen this in the pros recently, and it's a head scratcher. That's Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yes.
He's done that on several occasions, and I got to think it's just a matter of time till he figures out the pro game because he's too good not to.
Just saw that last night, and he did end up making a couple big catches last night.
Chris Crow is deep to receive the punt from Hall.
Sophomore back there.
Yeah, Crow back at about the 32-yard line.
Kiwani's got 2 impressive sophomore running backs. Of course, LaFollette's not playing tonight, but Crow's very good. Look how he caught that ball.
He sure did. Up to the 40, to the left side, up to about the 42, maybe the 43. I know a certain young lady that will be watching number 10 this evening. In any event, for the Boilermakers, their quarterback is number 2, Isaiah Ince. The wingback is number 10, Chris Crow. The halfback, number 17, Lane Taylor. The tight end is Liam Slover, number 21. The fullback is number 40, Eli Dennison. And the wide receiver is number 8, Damian Taylor. The offensive line, Oswaldo Sanchez, Braden Lynn, Camden Hicks, Juan Zepeda, also Jesus Martinez, Kanan Griffin, and Landon Weir. And Coach said they're going to start off with an awful lot of guys on the line, and he's absolutely correct. Hand off to the deep back. Look out, it's going to be a fumble. I believe the Boilers got it back.
That's fortunate.
Yeah, right at the 40-yard line. But
it's not good when you see ball like in midair over the line of scrimmage, because that's what happened.
It just was not a clean handoff and or reception. So, fortunately, they only lose a yard, so to bring up 2nd down and 11 for the Boilers from the Kiwani 42-yard line. 9:23 counting, first quarter, no score as of yet.
It's just doing those kind of things that they need to avoid. They were very fortunate to get that back.
All right, 2nd down and 11 for the Boilers from the Kiwani 42. Wide receiver slotted to the right side. Again, a 7-man line with 2 running backs in the pro set. Handoff this time to the right side. They're trying to turn it upfield. And a nice diving run that time by the fullback, Eli Dennison, up to about the Kiwani 44. And so we'll pick up about 3 yards on the play. Going to bring up 3rd down and 9 again from the Boiler 44-yard line.
Going back to that kickoff, Chris Crow back there in that backfield, I like the way that. Did you see how he caught that ball? That kickoff, 2 hands above his head. I mean, you got to be athletic to do that. So that bodes well.
He's an athletic guy. You might have recalled seeing him play basketball yesterday, and he was really something. Anyway, 3rd and 9 for the Boilers. 2 receivers right, 2 to the near side left. Quarterback Isaiah Ince running from the shotgun. Back to throw, has time, fires to the right side. Down the field, it's going to be a reception by Chris Crow, but is he a Crow? Rather, was he inbounds?
I don't. No, he called him out.
Yeah, that was the thing. Otherwise, that was a nice play. Crow doing a nice job catching that ball over his shoulder. And, Steve, that's a pretty good toss that time by Isaiah Ince.
Yeah, even though it was out of bounds, you got to plant that seed with Hall. I mean, because all them guys they had up on the line, they're not looking for Kiwani to be able to throw the ball. So that was a good call. It was just, the fact that he just was out of bounds when he caught it. But, that put something, in Hall's head that they got to look for. Maybe it'll loosen up the running game a little bit.
All right, a punting situation here for the Boilermakers from the 30. There's the kick. And it's going to bounce and stop right at the Hall 32. Bounces up to the 34. Curran picks it up and is going to pick up about 4 or 5 on the carry. That would be Braden Curran. And so the Red Devils will start off 1st and 10. Steve, they'll have fairly decent field position.
That ball kind of laid on the ground for a while. It didn't look like he wanted to pick it up, and I was wondering where the coverage was at. It took a while.
Well, again, the line of scrimmage at the 33, so the coverage not too bad. Well, we'll see how it plays here, as this will be the second series for the Red Devils. Clock stopped 8:07 first quarter, and again, we're scoreless at this juncture.
That was about a 22-yard punt.
You know, I hate to bore people too much, but I used to live in Southern California. Our weather, as of late, very typical of Southern California. Very warm in the day, cool at night, low humidity, hardly a cloud in the sky. It was like that for about 10 months of the year out there.
This is great weather for football. It's only going to get better as this game goes on.
That's true.
It's just going to keep cooling off, and these players should love it.
From the spread, quarterback from the shotgun. It's a keeper out across the 40 to about the 44. And he's going to be brought down there. Good coverage by the Boilermakers that time, as Jesus Martinez in on the hit. And let's see, pick up, I guess we're going to give him about 6 on the play, so it'll be 2nd down and 4. From the Red Devil 44-yard line.
And you can kind of tell there, Kewaunee really missing LaFollette on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
That's definitely going to help when he comes back.
He's getting closer, but not quite. He wanted to go tonight, but the staff said, no, let's not rush it.
Well, and quite, and that's to their credit, because at this point, it's really not worth it.
No, inside handoff to Braden Curran, the running back. He's into Boiler territory, brought down at about the 49-yard line. And the Red Devils will move the chains here. And, of course, Steve, classic, you're a young guy, you want to be out there. He's ready to go, it doesn't matter. But yet, older voices say, well.
He was great for the Boilers last year as a freshman, and he's going to have a great junior and senior year. So don't put him back out there, put him in jeopardy too quick.
Great point. And I think that was the prevailing wind. At the Boiler 48, 1st and 10 for the Red Devils. Hall breaking huddle. 2 receivers make it 3 to the near side right. They'll put a flanker and a slot man off to the left side. And once again, the quarterback, Dylan Glenn, from the shotgun. Long count, there's a snap. Inside handoff, no, it's a fake. He's going to keep it going around the left side. He's got blockers to the Boiler 40. Look out, he's going to take off to the 30, the 20, to the 10. It's going to be a touchdown, a 48-yard touchdown run for the quarterback, Dylan Glenn, at the 6:43 mark here in this first quarter of play. Well, he was able to break through. Once he got through on that other side, he had a lead blocker, and the backfield simply did not collapse on the play. And the Red Devils will strike first, leading 6-0, 6:43 here in this first quarter. And for Hall, like Brody Bosey will be doing the extra point kicking here. Beg your pardon. That is going to be Chevy Langham instead. There's the kick. It is up. It appears to be good. And it is. 7-0 Red Devils. 6:43 here in this first quarter of play. Well, Hall has kind of thrown the first punch. And so the question now is, how will the Boilermakers react to that? They darn near had a big play on their opening drive. Ball was just a little out of bounds.
Right. They got to come back and score.
Let's see how it goes.
The quicker, the better. But that's what I was talking about when Hall had the ball the first time. You just keep them, if they get 3, 4, 5, they're going to do that. But you just can't let them break the long one, and that's what happened there.
Well, the thing of it is now, coach has got to keep everyone in and say, look, let's just pick it back up. Let's go. And it appears that that's what's happening. And Steve, you mentioned something earlier tonight. It's not for lack of effort or desire or any of those things. It's just they're having trouble getting it to follow through, is it?
Right. I mean, if you're on a football field, you're going to be giving out effort because it's a tough game to play. I don't know why anybody would go out there and not give what they need to give, and that's not the guys for Kewaunee are doing that. They're going out there and playing. It's just I felt like the first 2 or 3 weeks they were overmatched, and this team's more their caliber right now, so they just got to stay positive and keep playing.
All right, Lane Taylor, Chris Crow back deep to field the upcoming kickoff. Chevy Langham will be doing the kicking there as well. Red Devils up 7-0, 6:43 here in the first quarter. Very nice to have you with us on this Friday evening. I'm Bob McKee, along with Steve Osborne, wishing one and all a very pleasant good evening and hoping that tonight and the weekend will be a good one for you. The approach on the kickoff, high, end over end. Going to be fielded right at the 18-yard line of Kewanee, out across the 31. And I believe that was Damian Taylor on the catch that time. So the Boiler offense back out on the field. 1st and 10. And the field position not too bad. Right at about the Kewanee 31-yard line. Once again, Isaiah Ince, the quarterback for the Boilers. The first series they ran with a 7-man offensive line on three different plays at least.
And I would like to see him, keep mixing in that throw, because that's going to keep Hall, with something to think about instead of stacking the line. One
receiver to the right, double tight into the right side, pro set backfield. There's a toss, trying to get it outside, and tough sledding this time for the Boilermakers. Eli Dennison only going to pick up. Look out, Hall saying that they've recovered a fumble. Do the officials agree? No, it looks like it's going to stay with the Boilers, but
second down.
Very short gain, really, if any, maybe a yard. And so pick up a 1. Let's call it 2nd down and 9 from the Boilermaker 32-yard line. It's too bad they couldn't get a little bit more push over there. Dennison seems like he's got some wheels. Wide receiver right. Tight end off to the right side, I formation. And a handoff to the deep back. And a few yards up to the 34. And it's going to bring up 3rd down here in about 5 or so. I believe that was Aiden Redcliffe on the carry that time. So, 3rd down and about 7 yards to go now for the Boilers. And Steve, you don't like to find yourself in those 3rd and longs too many times.
Not very often, no. They actually had a nice play called last time, and they had the 1st down, except the ball was just led Crow out of bounds a little bit. Let's see what they do here.
All right, they're going to go with the spread, wides and slots on both sides. And they'll operate from the shotgun. There's the snap. Looking out here to the left side. That's going to be interference.
Yeah.
Chris Crow was a receiver, and he was hit from behind before the ball ever got there. And that's going to be interference on the Red Devils. And the Boilermakers will get the 1st down via the penalty.
That was a very easy call to make. We were able to make it from up here. He just went right through his back before the ball ever got there.
Yeah, I believe that was Hunter Edgecombe on the hit.
But I also think Chris Crow put himself between the defender and the ball, so, good move by him, too.
Yeah. He's a talented guy and a talented athlete, so he's got the goods. And you can see that play developing from here. Well, the line of scrimmage now just short of the 50, where it's 1st and 10 for the Boilers. And again, this time, they'll play with wide receivers on either side. Flanker off to the right side. In fact, double flankers on either side. Once again, the quarterback, Isaiah Ince from the shotgun, laying in motion down the line, left to right. There's the snap. Back to throw, coming back this other way. It's going to be a completion to the 50. And it's going to be a nice reception and a diving carry down near the 42-yard line. The reception that time is made by Eli Dennison. Steve, that's not only a nicely designed play, it's very well executed.
Yeah, it was. They I think I saw them on film run that before, and it works for them. If he'd had just a little more speed right there, because he only had the one man to beat.
All right, 2nd down and 2 for the Boilers from the Red Devil 42. This time, 2 receivers here to the near side left. Tight end off to the right side in an I formation. Quarterback Isaiah Ince stepping in under center, takes the snap. Hands off to the deep back this time. And a nice carry by Lane Taylor. He's down inside the 40 near the 38. And the Boilermakers are going to move the chains here.
You know what he did that time? Something I hear on Sundays. He made himself skinny in the hole, Bob. He got to the hole and kind of turned sideways and slithered through there.
That's a great observation, Steve. And so the Boilers again with a 1st and 10 at the 38-yard line of Hall. 7-0 Red Devils up. 4 minutes left here in the first quarter. Boilers with a nice little drive going here. Receiver to the near side left. A flanker slotted left. I formation. Ince, the quarterback, stepping in under center. Hands off to the deep back this time. And once again, it's going to be Lane Taylor straight ahead. Some tough sledding this time as the interior of that Hall defensive line just collapses on the play. Going to be a pickup of maybe a yard. Let's call it 2nd down and 9 from the Red Devil 37.
I'm not really sure where Kewaunee strength is at yet. Inside, outside. I think at this point of the season, just keep improving on all of it.
Well, they have had some success here early moving the ball via the ground. It's not been overwhelming, but they have had some nice moments here. Let's see if they can keep it going. Wide receivers either side, double tight end. We've got people in motion, and for some reason the ball was not snapped. So I believe that's going to be a 5-yarder against the Boilermakers.
Yeah, that was, I think half the team had one snap count and the other half had another.
Penalties and turnovers, Steve, we know it doesn't almost really matter what the sport is. If you can keep those either eliminated or minimized, those are 2 big factors in your favor.
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt. You always want to keep going forward.
Line of scrimmage back out to the Hall, 42. And it's going to bring up 2nd down and 15 for the Boilermakers.
Basically, that took something fairly manageable to being difficult now.
Make it 14, a bigger pardon, nevertheless. Wide receiver to the near side left. From the shotgun, they're looking for the option pitch. They got it out here. And turning it upfield for a couple of yards is Chris Crow, but defense was there to push him out. Back to the line of scrimmage, and it looks like a pickup of about 1 or 2 down to the Hall 41.
If he can just get some space, you can see that he's dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
He just hasn't had the space yet.
3rd down and 13 for the Boilers from the Red Devil 41. 7-0 Hall up on the board. 2:44 clock stop here in this first quarter. This time the Boilermakers break huddle. They're going to send 3 receivers to the right side. Crow slipping all the way wide. Empty backfield. There's the snap. The bigger pardon, single setback. Lane Taylor. Ince trying to throw in a run. He loops it over to the right side to Taylor. He's going to catch it, but this one is going to be caught behind the line of scrimmage. I believe that was maybe kind of a screen over there, but it just never really kind of took off.
They got pushed back too far before he ever got the pass off was the problem. I mean, he threw a 5-yard pass that was still 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and that just Taylor did what he could, but he just had a long way to go.
Yeah, tough spot too because the defense was coming, so the pass wasn't on a line. It was kind of looped up and over the top, and gave the defense an opportunity to catch up to the play.
Well, with the screen, you want to let the defensive lineman come through, but it was too quick. You got him a quick block, then let him go, and I think they just let him go that time.
Boilers going forward on 4th down here from the spread, wides and slots both sides, and a pass to the right side. It's up in the air. It's a jump ball, and it's going to be incomplete. They were looking for Chris Crow over there, but he was double teamed, and that ball up in the air quite a bit, and those defenders back there. So Boilermakers will give the football up on downs, and the Red Devils will start off in fairly decent field position.
Holding on Kewaunee, but declined, obviously.
Going to be declined. So Hall starts it off 1st and 10 from their own 42. Red Devils up on the board, 7-0. Well, the Boilers on the road next week. They'll be at Mendota to take on the Trojans, and then 2 weeks from tonight, it'll be homecoming here at Kewaunee, as the Sherrard Tigers will be in town. Steve and I will be with you in 2 weeks once again, and we're certainly looking forward to that one. And of course, homecoming always a big deal, no matter what the record.
Right, and this Hall team just beat Sherrard last week, 18-15.
Hall goes to work with 3 wide receivers to the near side right. Their quarterback from the shotgun, that will be Dylan Glenn. And we've got whistles and stoppage before we can get this play underway.
Could go either way on this one. I was afraid of that.
Somebody in the
that neutral zone infraction, yeah.
That'll move the line of scrimmage up to the Hall 47, where it's now 1st and 5. And again, 3 receivers to the near side right. Shotgun quarterback, single setback. There's a snap. Keeper by Glenn. He made a big deal on that last time by scoring on that same play. Boilermakers responding very well this time. And they're going to stop them inside Boiler territory.
It's going
right around the 48.
It's going to be close. Second and real short.
Yeah. Not quite at the 48, just barely there, but still. But that's the same play that Dylan Glenn ran earlier for that big score for Hall.
Right, well blocked.
He's up 2nd-1.
Well, and Dylan Glenn seems like he's got pretty good control of that situation over there. 6 foot, 170-pound senior. This time from the gun with a wide receiver on either side. And a counter. This time it's going to go to Kern. He's going to be down near the 42. The ball's loose, but I think they're going to say that he was already down. Braden Kern was the ball carrier.
I think Hall recovered it either way. So,
line of scrimmage moves down to the Kewanee 42, where it's going to be first down and 10 for the Hall Red Devils. Hall appears to have some beef up front on that line. Wide receivers on either side. Quarterback once again, Dylan Glenn, running from the shotgun with a pro set backfield on either side. There's the snap. Here's a counter coming back left to right. Look out, this is trouble. Breaking loose, and this one's going to go coming back inside. Once again with the ball this time is Aiden Redcliffe. He's going to be stopped near the Boiler 10. Credit the Boiler secondary for coming across the field to make him cut back inside. Steve, if he stays on that angle, he's going to score.
Yeah, they did, but he kind of got cut off and had to come back where there were more defenders, and they were able to get him down where, about the 10-yard line, 11-yard line?
Yeah, just right in there. I'd say it's the 11. And now we're down to 20 seconds left. Not sure we'll get another playoff here in this quarter. In fact, according to the 25-second clock, they won't have to, and it doesn't look like they're going to even try.
Yeah, they're not really in a big hurry here.
Well, as soon as we say that, they break out on the line. Yeah. 2 receivers left, 1 to the near side right, and I don't think this play will get snapped.
They just like to mess with us, Bob, I think.
Well, somehow, for some reason, the clock is stopped with 3.1 seconds left. Well, they're going to say that the field clock went down, but that can't be because the game clock was a second faster.
Yeah, exactly.
28 seconds on the game clock, please. 28 seconds.
So they're running the 25-second field clock back, or running it back to 25, and they're saying on the field 28
seconds.
Somebody must have missed a sign or something somewhere.
Sign
so
or
now
a whistle or something, yeah.
They will have to run a play.
Player came off with blood on him.
Oh, okay.
Oh. Thanks to Matt Clark, our spotter up here, says somebody had to leave the field with a little bit of blood on the uniform. So appreciate the insight on that one from Coach. And it's going to be a counter. Look out, this is trouble. It's going to be a touchdown. We'll call it 10 yards. They ran that one right up the gut. Looked like they were going to go a little bit wide, but ran that one right up in there. Jack Curran, number 23, I believe, the carrier on that one. And it's now 13-0 Hall with 16 seconds left here in the quarter. Well, the Red Devils have been opportunistic. They certainly had good field position to start this drive off, starting at their own 42. Now the extra point attempt from Chevy Langham. The snap, the place, the kick, it's up. This one is wide off to the left side. So the score holds 13-0 with 16.1 seconds left again here in this first quarter of play. Well, once again, the challenge for the Boilers, can you bounce back here and make something happen? Boilers have plenty of players on the sideline. When you look at their roster top to bottom, they've got pretty decent numbers. And perhaps their biggest issue maybe is just being a little bit young, but still,
right.
We do see some other guys that are young and perform pretty well, so it can be done.
Well, there are a lot of sophomores out there, and that class has always had a lot of success. And a lot of that was due to, Crow and La Follette, and of course La Follette's not in there tonight, but no matter, it can always be hard transitioning into varsity football because it's probably the first time we played against kids 2 and 3 years older than you.
Yeah.
Makes a difference.
Yeah, it does. Well, unfortunately, right now, 13-0 Hall on the scoreboard. And the Red Devils to kick off here. Once again, Chevy Langham to do that. Two Boilers back around the 20. 2 of them back around the 10. There's the officials okay. The approach and the kickoff. High, end over end here on this near side. Fielded right at about the 21-yard line. And it's going to be a carry of about 13, 14 yards that time by Damian Taylor. Pretty good hit out there on special teams that time by the Red Devils. David Luna in on the hit. And so the Boilermakers will go to work 1st and 10. Line of scrimmage at the Kewanee 33. 13-0 now, Hall Township with 11 seconds left here in this quarter. Seems like this first quarter's taken a while for some reason.
It has, yes.
All right, let's see where it goes from here. Again, the Red Devils up by 2 scores. And let's see if the Boilers can get something going here. Wide receiver to the far side right is Chris Crow. Double tight end. Quarterback is Isaiah Ince under center with a pro set backfield. Somebody took off early, I think.
I think it was Crow.
And so penalty flags flying. That's going to be a 5-yarder. And that's going to make it 1st and 15. You know, when you're out there all alone like that and you happen to make a miscue, it's pretty obvious to everyone in the building.
Yeah, you're kind of out there by yourself.
If you're in that line, maybe you can kind of hide it. I don't know. Maybe. But in any event.
Well, I think that play was probably called for him, and he wanted to make sure he beat the defensive back, and he just took off early.
Oh, good call. All right, line of scrimmage back to the Boiler 28-yard line, where it will be 1st and 15 for Kewanee. And the wide receiver off to the far side right again is Chris Crow, double tight end, pro set backfield. And Isaiah Ince under center, back to throw, looking to the right side, looking upfield. It's going to be overthrown, looking for Crow. Coverage back there that time by Jack Curran.
I think that's what they wanted to do on that first play.
Yeah.
He just took off early.
He was ready. Well, unfortunately, that's an incompletion. I will say this, Isaiah Ince has shown that he does have a pretty good arm on him.
Yeah.
But Boilers now facing a 2nd down and 15 from the Kewanee 28-yard line. That'll stop the clock with 5.4 seconds left here in this first quarter of play.
And that's one thing about having all the young guys out there. They're going to get bigger and stronger just naturally, because that pass may have been complete if it was a little more direct. I mean, he threw it a long way, but it was a little bit too much arc.
Well, it's a classic case here with lots of linemen. Flanker's going to point to the way in. They're going to try and go to the end around to Crow, trying to turn the corner. Kenny, he does. And they're going to catch him from behind as he's out across the 30 at about the 31-yard line. That one appeared that it had maybe a little bit more juice in it than that.
Showed some speed. I thought he was going to go a little farther. One guy got him.
Yeah, the Red Devils closing very, very quickly on that play. In any event, that'll wrap up the first quarter of play. After 13-0 in favor of the Hall Red Devils. Well, it's been a little bit of a struggle, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
The penalties hurt. Not so much the turnovers to this point, but just the penalties, and they're just a little bit out of sync right now.
Well, that's gotten them behind the sticks to start, and that they already having kind of a tough time, moving the ball. And if you're starting from 15 and 1st and 15 every time, that makes it even harder.
Yeah, it really does. Well, the good thing is there's still lots of time in this game at 13-0 as we get set for the start of the second quarter. But, Steve, for the Boilers, you'd like to see them get something going just to kind of take the pressure off just a little bit.
Yeah, just so they prove to themselves they can do it. And they know that, but you have to do it game in and game out, I've seen most of their scores in the first 2 or 3 games have come late. They need to do something against a first-team defense and just, feel good about themselves.
All right, let's see how it goes from here. The second quarter just about set to get underway here as the team will be changing sides. Kewanee now going towards the south end zone. And, of course, Hall headed towards the north. Boilers with the football facing 3rd down and 12 from the Kewanee 31-yard line. From the spread, wides and slots on both sides. Isaiah Ince, the quarterback from the shotgun. Man in motion down the line. Left to right is Lane Taylor. Ince back to throw. Somehow avoids the pressure. And it's a completion to the middle of the field. All the way up to the 50 to the 49.
Flag. What's the flag for?
And
he called it back.
The Boilers. That was actually a nice play that time.
And he hung in there in the pocket good and made a nice strike.
And I believe that was Lane Taylor on the catch, but through traffic, over the middle, through the defense, everything. That was a really good-looking play, but as we mentioned a moment ago, the penalties have just been killers, and so you would have had the football right at the midfield stripe.
With the first down.
And right now it's back to the 21-yard line, where it's going to be third down in about a mile and a half.
That's the kind of thing where it didn't really affect the play, I don't think. You know, you kind of say, ref, just let it go, but they don't do that. They can't do that.
No. As soon as they do that, the folks on the other side are going to start saying, hey, buddy. And in the sake of fairness. In any event, wides on either side, clock running down. They get it off in time. Ince back to throw. Here comes the pressure. Rolling to the right, throws back to the left. And this one is going nowhere. It's going to be a big loss. They did get the completion, but the play is absolutely shut down. And it just didn't go anywhere. Lane Taylor on the catch.
Actually lost about 5 yards, it looks like.
Line of scrimmage back to the Boiler 15, and certainly they're going to have to punt here. That's all there is to it. And for Hall, Braden Curran dropping deep to field his punt. Punter for the Boilers back near the goal line. Long snap. There it is. Nice kick.
Long spiral. Wow. Good punt.
Holy cow, did that thing take off? Bounces down inside
Where's the
40. Yeah. Curran on that right side to the midfield stripe. Down inside the 45. Getting pushed out of bounds on the far side at about the Boiler 43-yard line.
Actually outkicked the coverage that time.
Yeah, that was a nice kick, wasn't it? All right, can the Boiler defense step up here? Let's see. Hall already up by 2 scores at 13-0, 10:32 in the first half. Line of scrimmage at the Kewanee 46. Hall's not been overpowering, but strong enough.
Right.
This time they'll send receivers on either side. And the wide here, the near side left, is about as far off from the line of scrimmage as you can be, at least wide, that is. From the shotgun. Glenn back to throw. Now he's going to keep it on this left side once again. Trying to turn the corner. Beats one of the defenders inside the 45. Brought down at the 40.
Good pursuit.
Eli Dennison from the linebacker position brings him down. Pick up maybe just a yard that time. Good pursuit. Absolutely correct, huh?
Yeah, they got outside and he had nowhere to go.
So a nice job by Eli Dennison coming down the line. And the quarterback, once again, Dylan Glenn. That was a play that they scored on earlier, and they ran that play 3 or 4 times already. But the Boilers doing a nice job there.
He got strung out that time, yep.
This time, 3 receivers to the far side right for Hall. Quarterback, once again, is Dylan Glenn from the shotgun with a single running back to his right. There's the snap. Inside handoff, look out, there's a trouble. Inside the 40, down near the 35 at about the 34-yard line. Ball carriers Aiden Redcliffe. Redcliffe down inside the Boiler 35, brought down at about the 34. Several Boilers coming over to make the hit. Eli Dennison again leading the charge. Also back there, Juan Zepeda, but, well, wait a minute. Looks like we got another flag here. And this time it's going to go against the Red Devils.
I have no idea what that was, but that's all right with me.
Yeah, and I didn't see the flag either. All right, back to the Hall 45-yard line.
Okay, looks like they've got, 20 yards. 2nd and 20. Kewanee really needs to step up and get a stop here.
All right, let's see what happens. That's the kind of thing that can turn it around if you take advantage. Wide receivers on either side. And this time the tight end to the right. And kind of a delayed handoff on the inside. And the Boiler defense is there. It's going to shut the play down right at the point of attack. Nice job that time. Jesus Martinez is going to lead the way. But several Boilers very quick to the point of attack that time. And, Steve, that's going to be very encouraging.
Yeah, they found the ball that time. And a couple times they haven't done that, and it's cost them. And they got 4 or 5 guys to that tackle that time.
Third down and 19 for Hall from the Red Devil 45. Hall leading on the board, 13-0. 8:48 first half. Clock is moving.
You know, on defense, after a while, you've seen enough plays that hopefully the Kewanee defense will get a feel for what they're doing.
Wide receivers on either side, slot man off to the right side. Glenn from the shotgun, back to throw. Here comes the pressure. He's rolling to the right side, wants to take off, stops, throws. It's a sidearm throw, and it's going to be a completion at the Boiler 42. They're going to be about a yard short.
And they're going to be able to go for it. Otherwise, they would have had to punt.
Yeah, they're going to be short by about a yard. Well, I'll tell you what, first of all, Dylan Glenn, a southpaw, he was running to the right, throwing back, and he threw a line drive. Tip your cap to him on that throw. That was a real nice throw.
And the receiver did a good job getting down to catch that ball.
So 4th down and 1 for Hall from the Boiler 37-yard line.
Those are the kind of plays when you're not going well that just seem to happen to you all the time.
I hear you.
Yeah, and in the Boiler defense, you know, they're really missing Lafayette in the middle. That middle, I believe he plays middle linebacker.
Wide receiver to the near side left. The receiver slotted to the right side. Glenn will operate this time from the shotgun. Running backs on either side. And it's going to be a delayed handoff inside. They've got the first down and then some.
That was all line push right there.
And so it's going to be a first down carry. Curran, the ball carrier, Braden Curran, will take it inside the Boiler 35 at about the 34, where it's going to be 1st and 10. It's just amazing how the little things become so big, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. And like I said, they're magnified when you're struggling.
Wide receivers on either side this time for the Red Devils. And again, Dylan Glenn will operate from the shotgun. Running backs on either side. The snap and a delayed handoff this time off to the right side. This one's going to be another nice quick hitter for Aiden Redcliffe. Redcliffe down near the Boiler 25. I believe they're going to mark it at the 26. And a pickup that time of about 7. So let's call it 2nd and 3 from the Kewanee 27-yard line. We've got a fairly nice house here tonight, and Steve, sometimes when you're not having the best of seasons, people kind of turn their back on you. It's certainly not a full house, but all things told, it's a fairly decent crowd.
It's filled in pretty nicely, Bob.
Yeah. Wide receivers on either side. This time they'll put a flanker to the near side left.
He's really wide.
Yeah, he really is. They're pulling that corner completely, or that safety completely off. Look out, big hole up the middle. Redcliffe inside the 15.
And now you said it, Bob. You've seen why he was so wide.
Yeah, pulling that defender completely off. Chris Crow on the tackle. But Hall running it down inside the 15. And I believe they're going to mark it right at about the 13. We're going to be 1st and 10 for the Red Devils. But, yeah, you bring that wide receiver that far over, and so you pulled one of the defenders completely out of the play.
Right.
I believe we're going to see that same formation here. In fact, this time it'll be the spread with wides and slots on both sides. And Dylan Glenn from the shotgun with a single setback. Look out, there's a fumble. Glenn picks it back up to the right side, inside the 10, dances outside to the 5, straight ahead, near the goal line. He got pushed out over there short of the goal line. But boy, oh boy, when things like that happen.
Any other time that ball's on the ground.
Yeah.
But
they had a fumble on the exchange. The ball hit kind of the flat spot of the ball on the field. Glenn is there, kind of moving in that direction.
Came right up to him.
Ball bounces right back up to him. 1st and goal for Hall from the Boilermaker 3-yard line. Yeah, you called it any other time. That ball would have just been dead, but not so. Wide receiver far to the near side left, one to the far side right, although that's the short field on that side. From the gun with 2 running backs on either side of the quarterback. Inside handoff. I believe that is going to be Aiden Redcliffe on the carrier down to the Boiler 1. Kewanee's defense collapsing in on the play. But it's going to be 2nd down and goal.
Those linebackers don't need to shoot up the gaps right here because they're just going to go straight ahead.
Clock moving, approaching the 5-minute mark here in the 2nd quarter.
I mean, football teams are known for, just doing the same thing over and over until you stop it.
Yes, absolutely. And why not? 3 receivers left, nobody to the far side right. Glenn from the shotgun, he's going to carry it himself. He's got the lead block from the fullback, and it will be a 1-yard touchdown run for the Hall Red Devils. And that'll move the score to 19-0 Hall with 4:47 left here in this first half of play. Steve, if you're Hall, do you kick the point or do you go for the 2-pointer here?
It looks like they're going to kick it.
And that will be the case.
Maybe in a closer game, obviously, but you can almost get, getting a little greedy if you go for 2 here. I can understand getting back to your 21, but
Chevy Lang with the kick is a high snap and just about blocked, but not quite. But it's still going to be wide left, and a penalty flag has just been thrown. Somebody said or did something that was not very nice. And let's see what the official call is going to be. The official going over to talk to the Hall bench. Now one of the officials coming over here to visit with the Kewanee bench.
See what the call is here.
Personal foul is going to be called against the Boilers.
Now they will go for 2.
So the line will be literally right at the 1. So we hold it 19-0 with 4:47 here in the half. And yes, let's see if they do that. It's one thing to, maybe have a holding or a false start, but boy, you sure don't want to, get caught up in that game and lose it for other reasons.
I think you're going to go straight at him again.
Yeah, with the spread, wides and slots both sides. And another player coming onto the field just a moment.
Yeah, they were one short.
From the gun, there's the snap and the same play they ran a moment ago, but this time it looks like it's going to be stopped.
Penetration.
Yeah.
Penetration makes all the difference.
You called it, buddy. Come right on through there, and the Boiler defense did it that time. And Eli Dennison leads the charge with that one. And good defense also up inside for the Boilermakers. Carter Ensley up in there, but Steve, I tell you, that's a nice turn of events there.
That was encouraging right there. I mean, it goes back to their learning, Bob. Because the touchdown, he went untouched, and that time they ran the same play, and they were all over it.
Yep, did a nice job of adjusting to it. So our score holds at 19-0. The 4:47 here in this first half of play. And the Boilermakers will receive this kickoff here in just a moment or two, but nice little defensive stop that time by Kewanee. Coming up and plugging the hole very, very quickly, very efficiently.
And it's those small things, little things like that don't seem no much that the coaching staff has to focus on to keep this positive.
All right, let's see what happens. The Red Devils to kick off. They've got a pretty good kicker in Chevy Langham. He's just a junior. And, Steve, we see the kicking game in high school football getting better and better all the time.
Oh, yeah, especially field goals. I mean, you used to you took somebody that wanted to kick the ball, and that's what you did back in the olden days and let them do it. But now they got guys, that's the only reason they're on the team, and they work at it all the time.
It's become quite an art. And
I mean, you're seeing 50, 55-yarders in high school. So.
Yeah. And you're seeing 60 and 65-yarders in the pros.
Well, and a lot of kickoffs into the end zone.
Kickoff to the far side. It looks like it's just about ready to roll out of bounds. Boilers are going to fall on it right at about the 21. I believe back there that time was Damian Taylor.
They need to sustain something right here. That would be so good just for their, their mental state, because it's hard being down 19-0 and being, quite frankly, being down like that every game. You just got to find the little things and stay positive.
Well, if nothing else, you want to send the message to your opponent that, hey, we can get the job done.
Yeah, and we're going to keep playing, yes.
All right, 1st and 10 for Kewanee from the Boiler 21-yard line. 19-0 Hall, 4:47 here in the first half. 2 receivers off to the far side left, I formation. And the quarterback, Isaiah Ince, under center. And a handoff to the deep back coming into the line of scrimmage that time. I believe that was Eli Dennison on the carry. check that. It's going to be Lane Taylor. And again, out to about the 23. We'll call it a pickup of 2 yards that time. So it'll be second down and 8. Homecoming 2 weeks from tonight. It'd be nice to see a big crowd for that event.
After a trip to Mendota next week.
Yes, sir. 2 receivers left. A little bit of confusion in the backfield. Man in motion down the line. They're looking to come this way. Little halfback option back to Lane Taylor. He'll go back against the grain to the left side. Going to be pushed out of bounds on the far side. And a short gain on that one, maybe 2 at most.
That was just a good ad lib by Taylor just to get anything there. Because the side he was coming to was completely shut off.
They'll move it up to the 23, so a gain of a yard. Going to be third down and about 8 yards to go from the Boilermaker 24. Play was pushed out of bounds, so the clock stops with 3:51 in the half. Third down and 8 from the Boiler 23-yard line. This time from the spread, 3 receivers right, 2 to the far side left. Empty backfield. Inns from the shotgun. Back to throw, looking to the right. Has time, puts it up and over the top. It's going to be complete here to the 34-yard line. It's going to be caught by Josh Delonte. And it will be enough for the first down.
Nice throw, nice catch.
Yes. In fact, for a moment, I was afraid that one might be a little bit too deep. And Delonte would be out of bounds, but a nice catch by Josh. And the line of scrimmage moves up to the 34. First and 10 for the Boilermakers.
He could have gotten a little more right there. It's just his foot did hit the out of bounds line when he caught it, but right after he caught it. So he turned it up, but he had already stepped out.
All right, nicely done by the Boilers. First and 10, Kewanee from the Boiler 34. Wides and slots both sides. Ends from the shotgun. Movement here again. And the Boilers looked like they were jumping. I thought I saw somebody on the defensive side maybe move, but
and the defense can move. That's the thing. You got to maintain your focus if you're on offense.
And that's that bugaboo again, biting the Boilers. Line of scrimmage back to the 29.
On first down, they just and young teams do that. They can make it hard on themselves, harder than it needs to be.
Unfortunately, that's the case here, where it's now first and 15 for Kewanee from the Boiler 29-yard line. 2 receivers here to the near side right, 2 to the far side left. From the shotgun, Inns takes the snap.
I think there was more movement again.
Yeah, this one gets blown dead before it really starts. And again, illegal procedure against Kewanee. Holy mother of India. Down to the 24-yard line where it's first down and 20 now.
That can be good and that can be bad because, of course they're hurting themselves, but it also shows that they're a little anxious and, they want to do good, and it's just, but you got to keep your composure.
All right, back to the 24. 3 receivers left, 1 to the near side right. Inns from the shotgun with a running back to his right. The snap, quick throw out here, a little flanker toss out here. It's going to be incomplete. Looking for Lane Taylor. I think that was a case there where he was looking upfield before he put the ball away, and it kind of went through his hands in the process.
Which is unfortunate because he had a few yards ahead of him.
Yeah, I thought so too. It's incomplete. Going to bring up second down and 20 for the Boilers from the Kewanee 24-yard line.
But what do you do, though? I mean, when your runs are struggles, your passes are struggles. So you just, and not all the time. I'm not saying that, but, more often than not, they just have struggle gaining yards.
All right, from the spread, wides and slots on both sides. Inns from the shotgun, takes the snap. Looking to the left, has time, throws. And it's going to be caught up at about the 29. So a pickup of 5, Lane Taylor on the catch. And a couple of Red Devils in there very quickly to make the tackle. And the defensive charge that time.
See, and this down now goes back to the penalties. If you hadn't had those penalties, you'd have third and manageable instead of third and 15.
Yeah. And the line up to the Boiler 30. And again, third and about 14 yards to go. Boilers need to get to the Kewanee 44 to keep the thing moving. Clock at the 3-minute mark and moving. 19-0. Red Devils up. from the spread. The shotgun. There's the snap. Ince has time to throw, thinks about running, but he stops. Now he throws it upfield. It's going to be caught, but it's going to be out of bounds. Chris Crow with a fairly athletic play, leaping through the air to get the catch, but the ball was thrown. And
yeah, he just really had no chance to get his feet down, though.
He was just way out of bounds that time. And I thought for maybe a moment that Ince was going to take off running, but he pulled it in at the last moment and put it up in the air. Not a bad pass, just a little wide. So 4th down here. And the Boilers will have to punt as the line of scrimmage at the Kewanee 30. Braden Curran deep for Hall, back at about the Red Devil 37. And there's the kick. It's another nice one. Curran back inside the 30 to field it, up ahead to the 35 to the right side 40, pushed out of bounds over there. At about the 42.
You know, later in the game, I just saw something on that play that Kewanee should think about. You don't want to mess with the integrity of the game or anything, you know, but they need to do something to get a spark. The receiver on this side, or the outside guy, the gunner, whatever you want to call him, took off, and the Hall guy went with him. This whole right side of the field over here was empty.
Whoa.
What's wrong with the fake punt? I mean, I know you're back there. What do you got to lose?
Yeah, well, good point. Yeah.
What do you got to lose?
By the way, the tackle on the far side that time was made by Damian Taylor. Hall with pretty good field position, 1st and 10 at their own 43.
I mean, Crow could have came on around this right end with his speed and went quite a ways.
Wide receivers on either side from the shotgun. And a counter this time up the middle. This is trouble. Pickup of about 10, maybe 11. Boilers really hurling the carrier to the line. I believe in on the tackle that time for Kewanee was Kanan Griffin. But the Red Devils will pick up to the midfield stripe. Wide receivers on either side, making a slot man to the left as well. Glenn from the shotgun takes the snap. Inside handoff, straight ahead this time. Not much doing on this particular play. Aiden Redcliffe with the ball, and interior of that Boiler defense does a nice job of shutting that play right down.
If I'm Hall now, I pull that out of that running back's stomach and come around the outside.
Timeout on the field.
I mean, those things are easy to see from up here, but
yeah.
Because around the Kewanee really sold out, and they needed to stop that ball up the middle, but I could see an outside run coming.
3rd down for Hall and about 2 yards. Football just with the nose of it resting on the stripe at midfield. And again, a timeout here on the field, so we'll be back at it in just a moment or two. 19-0 on the scoreboard. Red Devils up with 2:01 in the first half. And, of course, it's going to be a nice show coming up here at halftime. We'll be with you a little bit, then we'll get out of the way, and then we'll come back on the other end a little bit. Third down for the Red Devils. 2 receivers here to the near side left, 1 to the far side right. Once again, from the shotgun, it will be Dylan Glenn. Long count, there's a snap. Inside handoff, they're going to go off tackle left. Look out, this one's trouble, big yardage. And the carry is going to be made by Aiden Redcliffe down inside the Boiler 40 at about the 38-yard line. It's going to be a first down carry that time. And the Boiler defense coming over quick. Tackle made by Camden Murray. But another first down for Hall. As the Boiler still moving players in and out here, as are the Red Devils. 150 in the half. 3 receivers right. Glenn from the shotgun. Inside handoff once again. They'll go off tackle to the left side once again. And over here to the near side with the carry is Aiden Redcliffe. He's going to be wrestled out of bounds by Camden Murray. Clock stops as they went out of bounds. The line of scrimmage down to the Boilermaker 33.
Actually, it's still running. I think they called him down in bounds.
Oh, you are correct. All right. Second down and about 6.5 to go for Hall from the Boiler 33. 3 receivers right from the shotgun. Single set back again. That's going to be a fake, and this time a keeper by the quarterback, Glenn, inside the Boiler 25, brought down at about the 24, maybe the 23. A little extracurricular activity, and the penalty flags are flying on this one.
I looked away at the clock. Was that on Kewanee, do you think?
Well, I couldn't tell who. There was a couple of players, one from each side, going at it. Question is, who got caught with his hand in the cookie jar? And the way the Boilers are backing up, it doesn't look good for Kewanee. Let's wait for the officials to make the call. Personal foul against the Boilers. That's called shooting yourself in the foot, ladies and gentlemen.
You got to maintain that.
Yeah.
You got to maintain your composure.
Yeah, that's a discipline issue at that point. Line of scrimmage all the way down to the Boiler 13. Boilers started off tonight kind of hanging in there, but it's the pretty is starting to fade on this one. 3 receivers left. Keeper by the quarterback. Look out, he's going to go between the guard and the center on the left side on kind of a counter. He's down just short of the goal line. Only about 6 inches to go. Clock stop, 56.7 seconds left here in the half. Now it starts up. You got to think that the Red Devils are just going to try and bully their way right into the end zone.
Straight ahead again. And they'll take their time. They don't need to hurry.
Well, Dylan Glenn did a nice job of carrying that time. Wide receivers spread wide on either side. Glenn from the shotgun, running backs on either side. And timeout has been called by the Kewanee Boilermakers. Timeout on the field. 41.1 seconds in the half. And again, 19-0 Hall. But they are knocking on the door.
That's why it's so important if you're Kewanee, just maintain possession of the ball. At least a lot of, 3 downs and out. I mean, you got to put a little drive together just to take some time off the clock even.
Well, 41 seconds left in the half. And again, the Red Devils knocking on the door. It's first and goal at about the half-yard line. All right, Boilers back out on the field. And again, Hall with those wide receivers split very far wide. Each one of them is just a few yards in from the sideline. Glenn from the shotgun, running backs on either side. Delayed handoff right up the middle. It's very close. I don't think he's in yet. I think the Boilers have stuffed this play.
Mm-hmm.
Very nicely done. Hall picks up about another 6 inches.
And they took a timeout.
And the Boiler defense just did a nice job of coming into the middle. Again, a pickup of about half a yard. And so it's going to bring up second down and goal. I think Hall still has a timeout left after this. So they're really in the driver's seat on this particular series, or at least at this moment. 19-0, Red Devil advantage. Anything you can pass along over there?
I'm just looking, Bob. Hopefully I'll have something for you shortly. I'm trying to find some scores here of other games.
Hall back out on the field. Boilers breaking huddle. They're heading off to the defensive side of things. And again, Hall spreads those wide receivers. The one to the near side left is only about 3 or 4 yards from the line. On the other side, it's a little bit bigger, but still kind of a similar deal. Get those safeties off and down the line, or at least your corners. Inside handoff this time. It's going to go to Aiden Redcliffe, and he's going to take it in. It's going to be a 1-yard touchdown run for number 34, Aiden Redcliffe, with 27.8 seconds left here in the half. And it is now 25-0 in favor of Hall Township. Well, the unsportsmanlike penalty really hurt the Boilers on that drive.
Yes. And hopefully, those are things that can be corrected.
It's tough if you've got a false start or a holding or something like that. But here's an extra point attempt that's going to be a wounded duck off to the right side. Not sure if the Boilers maybe got in on that play.
I was just going to say, I think that might have been tipped a little bit.
So still 25-0 Hall with 27.8 seconds left here in this first half of play. Well, we certainly wish we had better news to report to you, ladies and gentlemen, but truth of the matter is, it's scoreboard is pretty indicative of how the thing has gone. And it's too bad because early on, the Boilers kind of, a couple times along the way, seemed like they were maybe a little bit more cohesive, but couple of touchdowns by Hall early on, particularly that big run by the quarterback, Dylan Glenn, was a killer. And it's just been kind of a
little bit downhill since then.
Sort of a steady push, yeah. Well, just before halftime, again, 27.8 seconds left here.
I'm looking for some scores we might be interested in the area, Bob.
Chevy Langham to kick off once again for Hall. Boilers with 5 up on the line of scrimmage at the 50, 2 at the 30, 2 at the 20, 2 at the 10. Langham's got a pretty good leg. Here's the approach. It's going to be an onside kick here. Look how that ball's loose. I do think the Boilers fell on it. Right at the Kewanee 48. Nice job there by Camden Murray to fall on it. In fact, he fell on it. The ball bounced away, and he grabbed it again. So Kewanee at their own 48-yard line with 26 seconds left in the half. Be interesting to see how they play it. Do you try and make something happen, or do you just say, hey, let's get into the break and regroup? From the 48, Boilers breaking huddle. 2 receivers to the near side right, 1 to the far side left. In fact, a double flanker formation now. Ince from the shotgun. And he's going to throw it over to the left side.
It was complete.
A nice completion over there.
But you could see the conundrum there because that was almost intercepted.
Yeah, Lane Taylor on the catch.
Have a score here from
timeout
Rushville Industry. Anawan Weathersfield is leading 21-6.
Well, Rushville Industry was one of the top teams in that Lincoln Trail.
21-6 at halftime.
Well, the Titans are having another good season. Hats off to them. They've done really well for several years.
Yep.
And the question for many Titan fans was, once Zeb Rashid graduates, who do we turn to? They seem like they've answered the question fairly effectively.
Mm-hmm.
And again, Rushville Industry, they've had a nice season, so that's a pretty significant score there.
And here's a surprising score. Princeville's tied with Abington Avon 14-all at half.
Princeville's had a real good season, and Abington Avon not quite so.
Not much, right.
All right, for the Boilermakers here, 2nd down, 5 from the Hall 46-yard line. 3 receivers to the near side right, 1 to the far side left. Isaiah Ince from the shotgun takes the snap. Back to throw, looking downfield to the right side. It's up there, and it's going to be incomplete. Looking for Lane Taylor. He was coming back for the ball, but it's a bit short. And incomplete. We're down to 11 seconds in the half. And it will be 3rd down for Kewanee. And we'll call it 3rd down and maybe 4, I guess. Actually closer to 5. It doesn't matter. 11 seconds left here in the half. And the Boilers this time from the spread. Wides and slots on both sides. Ince from the shotgun. There's the snap. Rolls back to throw. Look out. Here's the pressure. And it's going to be a screen to the middle of the field. That ball was knocked down. That was great defense that time by the Red Devils. Coming up to make the hit was Aiden Redcliffe. He darn near intercepted that ball. They smelled that play the entire way that time.
I was to say the problem now for Kewanee is they're looking for those type of plays.
Fourth down here. And the Boilers call timeout. The Boilers calling a timeout here with 6.9 seconds left, facing 4th down and 4.
The way things have been going, I think I just put it down there and get the half over. I mean, anything can happen if you try something here.
Again, on the last play, Boilers fortunate not to be intercepted. Redcliffe came flying in, and had he caught that on the run, all he had to do was angle to the right, and he probably would have taken it to the house.
Right, as bad as it's been going, you don't want something to really
that's a crushing blow at that point.
Here, yes.
Yeah. Well, let's see. 4th and 4 for the Boilers from the Hall 46-yard line.
And on the other hand, what do you have to lose? I mean,
yeah. 25-0 Hall, 6.9 seconds in the half.
You hate to put it that way, but that's where we're at here right before half.
I'm afraid that's the truth. 2 receivers right, 1 to the left side. Insta throw. He's got a completion. It's going to be kind of the old hook and ladder of sorts. Going to be caught by Crow, sent back to Lane Taylor. Still on his feet inside the 40. Going to be brought down at about the 38.
I mean, good idea.
Good idea, and actually executed fairly well. But Hall was on top of that one right away. Chase Sterling in on the tackle that time. So we are at the halftime break, and again 25-0 in favor of Hall Township. We'll stay on the air here for just a little bit. Once the band comes out, we'll step aside for a couple of moments or two. But Steve, can we maybe get any kind of a little scoring recap?
I can give you a recap real quick, Bob. Two Hall touchdowns in each of the first 2 quarters, and we're at 25-0 right now at half. It began at 6:43 in the first quarter, and that's the run we talked about that kind of broke Kewaunee back. 48-yard run by the quarterback, Glenn, and the kick was good, made it 7-0. And then they managed to score again with 16.1 seconds to go in the first quarter. It was a run by Curran, a 10-yard run, actually. The kick was no good this time, 13-0. They got the ball right away in the second quarter. A 1-yard run by Glenn. 2-point conversion was no good. Kewaunee actually made a good stand a couple times there, at the end of that drive. And it was 19-0. And then Hall put their last score up on the board with 27.8 seconds to go in the half. A 1-yard run by Redcliffe, their running back. And again, the kick was no good, and that's why we stand at 25-0 right now, Bob.
Well, that is certainly the case, and the challenge certainly for the coaching staff down in the locker room is, how do you keep the guys, with their heads in it? How do you keep them motivated? Unfortunately, it's a story that's played out several occasions so far this year, and you got to fight that battle of, oh my gosh, here we go again.
Right?
Yeah.
And I was talking about over the offseason keeping their attention and motivation and remembering how all this feels and everything. But the way they're struggling right now, the coaches have to do that during each game, just to keep them in it. And that can be difficult with young kids.
Well, it can, and, how do you continue to pull the rabbit out of the hat? I mean, there's only so many witty things you can say. There's only so many constructive things you can say. There's only so many Newt Rockne speeches you can pull out.
And it's not really a matter of a Newt Rockne speech right now where you've got a good team that just needs to kick it in. You've got a young team here that's learning, and hopefully they're just registering all these things that they are learning between their ears and bring it back in the next couple of years and use the end of this game in the next 4 weeks to just, kind of realize where they want to go in the future.
Well, and the challenge has got to be, how do you keep those guys motivated enough to want to move forward with the program? You don't want them to become sour and say, okay, that's it, we've had enough, we're not going to do this anymore. But we'll see how all that plays out. Well, it looks like the band is coming out. Steve and I are going to take a break. Again, 25-0 Hall at halftime. We'll be back with the second half here in just a little bit.
welcome back to the field the 2025 Kewanee High School Marching Boilermakers. They competed this past weekend at the Illinois Valley Central Gray Ghost Classic, where they finished in first place in their class. We are back in action tomorrow night at the Morton Band Invitational. Our 2025 show is titled Free as a Bird and includes Blackbird by the Beatles, Freebird by Leonard Skinner. The front ensemble is led by Aloria Button, and the saxophone soloist is London Pettis. Kewanee High School is proud to present drum majors Azucena Cavada, Annie Campbell, and the Kewanee High School Marching Band.
Back once again here at the Kewanee High School Football Stadium. Once again at halftime, the Hall Red Devils leading the Boilermakers on the scoreboard 25-0 is the score on this one. And Bob McKee along with Steve Osborne here tonight. Very nice to have you with us. And we truly wish that we could pass along some better news. We're not here to bash or trash the Boilers. But a rough season, unfortunately, has continued here in the first half tonight.
Yeah, they're just struggling, and like we said numerous times in the first half, they're young. They need to take all this in and not get frustrated. That's the hard part. Keep playing football, and hopefully, I believe they get the ball to start the second half. Come out and do something good here to start the second half.
Well, they tried to kind of jumpstart something there late in the first half, and the kind of that hook and ladder play had some promise, but the Red Devils were over to cover it so very, very quickly.
Right.
And so team speed probably right now is advantage for Hall. Up along the line, the Boilers at times moved some people out of the way, but they also got moved out of the way at times.
Well, Kewanee's got some faster kids, but I think they're just all of them being the age they are, and not all of them, but a lot of sophomores playing, and they're just a little iffy on what to do, and they're playing against older kids, and it's kind of, they're just a step behind, put it that way.
It's certainly been a tough first half. Again, 25-0 is the Red Devil advantage. Boilers on the road next Friday. They'll be at Mendota to take on the Trojans. And then 2 weeks from tonight, they'll be back here for homecoming as they will play host to the Sherrard Tigers. So we'll certainly look forward to that. Steve and I will have that game with the Sherrard Tigers, and that's October 10th.
My birthday.
Oh, hey!
I'll be here on my birthday.
All right, buddy.
We won't acknowledge it on that night, but
we're gonna take. I think we're gonna have some sort of a raffle. See if we can guess Steve's age.
It's not going to be too hard to do.
And this much I can tell you: he's under 100.
That's true.
And I know that for a fact. I also know that he's over 40.
That's true too.
I also know that he's over. I think I'll stop there.
Yeah.
But
you could keep going for a while.
Well, certainly a festive evening at that particular point in time.
Well, no place I'd rather be but in the booth with you on my birthday.
Well, very, very nice of you to say that, and certainly do appreciate the kind words, and we'll certainly look forward to that. Let's hope that they'll be celebrating with some homecoming cake.
And let's hope let's hope the Cubs are doing well at that point in the playoffs.
Yeah, indeed. I saw they had a big 7-1 lead over St. Louis.
They won 12-1.
12-1. Wow.
Suzuki actually hit a grand slam.
I'll tell you what, now's the time to fire it up because the postseason starts Tuesday. Anyway, We're here in the regular season with football. Hall just about ready to kick off. And the Red Devils will be going right to left. Here's the approach and the kick. And the second half is underway. It's going to be short, end over end, fielded on the fly at about the 28. And a nice job out there. I believe that's Chris Crow out across the 45 up to about the 47-yard line. And so the Boilers will have decent position on this one. It was Chris Crow on the carry. He's a fine athlete. And as you mentioned before, if you can get him out in space, you can make some things happen.
Nobody's really going to catch him, I don't believe.
All right, let's see what happens here. Let's see if the Boilers can take advantage. And already...
Not quite sure what's going on already.
No, both teams going to their respective sidelines. Well, let's see, one of the Boilers limping off here. That's Jaime Radilla. And maybe that's why it was, maybe bringing the injury off. Everybody back out on the field, set to resume here. Looks like Radilla, they're looking at his right ankle. Boilers this time with a wide receiver right. Flanker coming down the line from left to right. That's Chris Crow. They're going to hand off to the right side. Here comes Lane Taylor around the edge. He's got some blockers inside the 40. Turning the quarter. Pushed out of bounds here in the near sideline at about the 34-yard line. And that is one of the better plays of the night so far for the Boilermakers.
You got the speed outside, and that's what they've needed to do because it's kind of clogged in the middle. They ain't really going anywhere. But
they had a couple of blockers leading the way.
Like I said, they have some speed, so that good adjustment by the coaching staff at halftime.
That was a nice play, no two ways about it. 1st and 10 for Kewanee at the Red Devil 34-yard line. Wide receivers on either side, tight into the near side right, pro set backfield. Ince under center takes the snap. It's a toss. They're going to sweep to the left side. Lane Taylor trying to turn the corner. He dodges a couple of would-be tacklers, still on his feet, out of bounds on the far side, down around the 30, maybe even inside. But, Steve, I tell you what, credit Lane Taylor that time. That could have been a 3 or 4 yard loss, and he turns it into about, well, I thought he had more on the gain. He's going to be pushed out of bounds after a yard gain. But, again, that could have been a 4 or 5 yard loss that time.
Kind of elusive like his older brothers were.
Well, as it turns out, I guess it's going to be no gain on the play. My mistake. I thought he had more than that, but still, just to avoid the loss. This time from the spread, wides and slots, both sides. Ends from the shotgun, back to throw, has time, throws to the right side. It's going to be caught out here by Josh DeWante, and he's going to be stopped right at the 30-yard line. Good open field tackle that time by Jack Curran. Curran slow to get up. Finally peels himself up off the turf. And he's hobbling. It looks like his left leg maybe took a little bit of a pop there. And I think he's going to have to come off. He's got just a little bit of a limp. Hopefully for him, nothing serious.
I think they're in 4-down territory, too, here, obviously.
Yeah, I would think so as well. So the Boilers at the Red Devil 30, where it's going to be 3rd down. And a little over 5 yards to go. Wide receiver off to the far side left this time is Damian Taylor. Slot man to the near side right is Chris Crow. He's going to go in motion right to left. And it's going to be a little pass out here to the left side. It's going to be knocked down and almost intercepted. It's going to be incomplete.
Oh, fumble.
Wait a minute. They're going to say a fumble now. And Hall has recovered. I would have, well, they're going to must be saying that was a lateral. I thought that was an incomplete pass.
It went backwards.
Yeah, that's got to be it. Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
That's just a killer.
Talk about pulling the plug right out of the bottom of the boat. Well, the Red Devil fans over there going crazy right now, but Hall has the football, 1st and 10 at their own 43. Well, the Boilers appeared like they might maybe were putting something together there, but that was a pass that just floated back, and that's a tough break that time.
It's a fine line to be calling some of them gadget plays between those and, kind of, in quotes, normal plays. And they got a little too fancy there maybe.
Hall 1st and 10 from the Red Devil 43, wide receiver right, wide receiver left, slot man here to the left side as well. And an inside handoff to Curran. He's going to dance outside to the 45, to the 50, to the 40. Of Kibani down the left sideline. Look out, he's going to take this one to the house. It'll be Aiden Redcliffe, I beg your pardon. But Redcliffe is going to take this one 57 yards. Aiden Redcliffe, 57 yards with 10:43 here in the 3rd. It's now 31-0 in favor of the Red Devils. Well, I don't know if I'd say that's the backbreaker, but if not, it's just this side of it. Tough situation there. The blocking up front was very, very effective by Hall. Redcliffe showed he's got speed. Once he got outside of the corner, he just turned it upfield.
Nobody catching him.
It was a foot race from there. Here's the extra point attempt up.
Off
the kick.
A doink.
Yeah, a doink is right. Hits the right upright and bounces away. So we hold at 31-0. And the Red Devils will be kicking off here in just a moment.
See, that's so disheartening. We were all happy down here at Kewanee. Got a 15, 20-yard run to begin. And then they turn it over and they take it to the house on one play. That's disheartening.
Yeah, very, very, very much so. You had some momentum. It snatched right away. And that was a tough play on the fumble because they were going back against the grain with the pass. It was incomplete, but the pass was going backwards. So in the process declared kind of a lateral, and that makes it a free ball at that point. And there were nobody there to pick it up but Red Devils. Hoo boy. Well, you go through seasons, I guess, at times like this, and you have good waves of talent coming through from time to time. And unfortunately for Boiler fans, one of the problems they're facing now is that for the last 4, 5, 6 years, you've had some pretty good teams out there. In fact, you've had some excellent teams, and the bar was set very high with some great athletes and great football players.
Yeah, I mean, it's very cyclical, especially at a school this size. I mean, unless you're one of the bigger schools that are just a power all the time, you're going to see this at most every school.
Here's a kickoff, high end over end, going to bounce inside the 20, picked up on the fly this time. And that's almost a dangerous play. I believe that was Lane Taylor picking it up, going forward up to about the Boiler 29-yard line. And that's a tough one because you're running right towards that ball. I beg your pardon, that was Damian Taylor on that catch. But I tell you what, give him credit for hanging on, but catching that ball as it's bouncing up and then you're running right into the teeth of the defense, that's a tough one. Boilers at the Kewanee 29, where it will be 1st and 10. Again, Hall up on the board 31-0 as this third quarter, about a minute and a half old. For Kewanee, wide receivers on either side, double tight ends, pro set backfield. Isaiah Ince stepping into center. Here's a handoff. They're trying to the right side. Plays pushed back inside. And unfortunately, this one just really not going
just
anywhere.
Nothing there that time.
Blocking never really developed. And so, I believe Damian Taylor was the carrier that time. Maybe picked up a yard. We'll call it up to the 30. We're at 2nd down and 9 for Kewanee. Boilers on the road next Friday night at Mendota. Back here in 2 weeks for homecoming. As Sherrard will come calling. Wide receiver to the far side left. Flanker here to the near side right is Chris Crow. And they're going to hand off to Crow. Going to the left side. He's got blockers out in front. Gets by a would-be tackler. Loses the ball. It's loose on the field. And Hall has recovered it.
Oh, my gosh.
At the Boilermaker 36-yard line. And that's a tough one because
he had some room again.
He'd had some room, and he was starting to pick up some steam.
He kind of got stripped from behind.
Yeah. That's a tough one. All the way out to the 36. The ball's ripped away. And the Red Devils are going to have a short field here at the Kewanee 36-yard line. Hall leading on the scoreboard 31-0. Well, again, it's not our intent to kind of bash away, if you will. But the truth of the matter is there's not been a lot of highlights tonight for the Boilers.
That's true. Very true.
Hall, 1st and 10 at the Kewanee 36. From the spread, wides and slots both sides. Their quarterback, he's a good one. Dylan Glenn from the shotgun with a single running back. There's the snap. Inside handoff, straight ahead this time. Nothing doing as the Boiler defense will shut down Aiden Redcliffe right at the point of attack. And unfortunately, one of the Boilers slow to get up here, but boy, the interior of that line just collapsed that play. And Steve, you've talked about some incremental progress. Take your victories wherever you can get it, if you will. Mm-hmm. But for the defense to respond like that says they haven't given up.
I was just going to say that, Bob. They're still playing, and that's, and we talk about looking for a positive. There's a positive right there.
All right, a pickup of a yard to the Boiler 35. 2nd down and 9 for Hall. 2 receivers right. Flanker slotted here to the left side, and that will be Chevy Langham. They're going to go from the I formation, but first of all, timeout has been called by Hall with 9:02 here in the third. 31-0 is the Red Devil advantage. Well, Hall comes into this game tonight at 2-2. A victory here for them would put them at 3-2. And I know they've got a tough part of their schedule coming up, but for the Red Devils at 3-2, they've got to say, look, we've got 4 games left. If we can go 2-2, we've got a shot at the postseason.
And if you're their coach, that's what you're telling them. But, keeping with our theme of honesty here tonight, it's going to be very tough for them to win another one.
Yeah,
they got 4 tremendous teams that are going up against the last 4 weeks. If they can do it, great for them. But I'm just saying it's going to be difficult.
Well, we'll see how everything turns out. And it's now going to be 2nd down for Hall from the Boiler 35. It'll be 2nd down and 9. Red Devils calling their first time out of the second half. This time, Hall will line up rather with wide receivers on either side and a flanker to the near side left. And the quarterback, once again, Glenn, will run from the shotgun with a running back to his left. There's the snap, fakes the handoff, throws up and over the top. Look out, there's going to be a touchdown right over the middle. Nobody there. And the completion to Chase Sterling. And that will be a 30-yard
36-yard, Bob.
36-yard touchdown pass. And again, Dylan Glenn, a left-hander, but boy, he throws a nice ball. And the thing that's perplexing there is that Hall actually had 2 receivers open, and right in the middle was Chase Sterling, the tight end.
First time they've thrown to him all night, and he was wide open.
Not only wide open, he was galloping at full speed up the middle of the field. Once they dropped the ball into his hands, he was gone. That's all there was to it. Extra point attempt is up. The kick this time is good. And so 38-0 is the Red Devil advantage with 8:54 here in this third quarter of play. Well, it's a fairly sober atmosphere, I might say.
Yes, good word, Bob.
You can see it. You can see it on some of the assistant coaches as they turn and kind of walk away. You can see that they're just sobered.
Right.
And nobody's mad or jumping up and down and screaming, but it's got to be a tough sell at a certain point.
You just keep hoping for something good to happen with your team because they're out there still playing hard. It's just, you're right, it gets very sobering and very real very quickly.
Well, truth be told, for the Red Devils, one more score and it becomes a continuous clock. And at this juncture,
I'm agreeing with you there, Bob, and I hate to say it, but we're heading that way.
Yeah, we are. And here again, you can argue it both ways. Yes, you'd like more playing time for your guys, more experience. On the other hand, sometimes it's a matter of, hey, let's just wrap it up and get out of here. We don't want anybody to get hurt. And let's go, because it's very unlikely the Boilers are going to come back to win this one.
And Hall understands that, too. And at some point, it'll be like, get that running clock and just kind of call off the dogs, I guess you could say.
Here's a kickoff by the Red Devils. It's going to go out of bounds here on the near sideline at about the Boiler 22.
That might have been the reason for that pass right there. With that big lead, you don't usually see that, but they haven't passed all night, and they wanted to get that score, and they want to get the running clock, and like you said, just get it wrapped up.
Well, and they've missed 3, if not 4, extra point attempts, so it might have already been there.
They've missed 3 and had a 2-point conversion stopped.
We got a procedure call here. This one's going to go, I thought, against Hall, and it looks like we're going to kick again, or they are at least.
And another score for you, Bob. Anawan Weathersfield's leading 28-6 in the fourth quarter. And Abington Avon is actually beating Princeville in the third quarter. That's surprising.
Yeah, it is. I would agree. That's a little bit of a head scratcher there. Well, that was a procedure against Hall, so they're going to kick again back to their 35. And again, their kicker, Chevy Langham, he has missed a couple extra points, but he's got a pretty good leg on him, I'd say.
A couple of those misses weren't his fault. I mean, yeah, he doinked one, but also the Boilers got in on a couple of those.
Line drive kick this time. It looks like it's going to go out of bounds again, and it does. And that's the second time in a row. And the Boilers need to be prepared because even though the ball was going out, the Red Devils were coming down and blocking full force that time. One of the Boilers came flying out of bounds over here. I think Coach Matt Taylor is saying, hey, why don't we just take it and go. But it looks like they're going to have to kick it again. Well, the line of scrimmage will now go back to the 30, the kicking point, rather. It's not Halloween or anything tonight, is it?
I don't believe so.
Oh, okay.
There's some orange and black out there, but I don't believe it's Halloween.
Well, I was just thinking that nutty things are starting to happen now.
Where's the moon at? That's what you always got to look for.
Yeah, they having trouble keeping the ball in bounds. Just one of those things, the ball curling away.
I think they're just trying to pin Kiwani over here, and he's, getting a little overzealous with it and kicking it too far and too far left.
All right, let's see what happens. Here's the approach and another kick. This time kicks it away. It's deep, bounces, or rather caught at about the 25. And coming out here is Damian Taylor. Going to be stopped right at about the Kiwani 40, maybe the 41-yard line. And the Boilers will have fairly decent position here to get things underway. 8:48 in the third, 38-0 is the Hall advantage here over the Boilermakers.
Here's a score from Princeton for you, Bob. Monmouth Roseville 22, Princeton 0 in the third quarter.
Oh, my.
Roseville beat them up last year, too.
Sounds like they're doing the same thing here.
And this time it's at Princeton.
Ooh. All right, Boilermakers break huddle. New formation here. Deep flankers, double tight end, single setback from the gun. And it's going to be a keeper.
And they've changed quarterback.
I believe it was Lane Taylor, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Taylor taking it out. Probably just going to kind of sort of a wildcat try to run it from here, I would guess.
And at this point, get some things that you see might work for you. You know what I mean? Just try something different.
Isaiah Inns, the quarterback, back out onto the field now for the Boilers. So apparently that was the deal just on that one play. Taylor picks up about 4. We'll call it second down at about 6. Right at the midfield stripe. Wide receiver left. Flanker off to the left side. Offset I formation. Hand off to the deep back. Trying the right side. And a few yards for the Boilers this time. Down to about the 50, maybe inside the 50.
I think he got the first down.
Believe so as well.
The one ref on the other side looks short, but on this side it looks like he got it.
Lane Taylor just refused to go down that time.
They called it.
And way to go. Down to the 49-yard line of Hall.
Here's another third quarter score. Riverdale 28, Orion 20.
Ooh. Orion started out pretty strong, but
I believe they beat this Hall team 40-21.
Yeah. They've kind of faded a little bit recently. 2 receivers left. This time 1 wide, 1 slotted. Pro set backfield. And the toss this time, they're going to try and bring it this way to Eli Dennison. Turning the corner, beg their pardon, that's going to be Chris Crow, rather.
No, you're right the first time.
Yeah, and it was Eli Dennison, beg your pardon.
A little bit bigger than Chris Crow, yep.
Down inside the 45.
They got that 4 and the 1, 40 and 10.
To about the 44-yard line.
It's hard to distinguish.
So a nice pickup for the Boilers that time. It'll be second down and about 5 yards to go. They're going to give them 5 on the pickup. Clock moving, 7:08 in the third. It's all Hall on the board, 38-0. Wide receivers on either side. Again, the pro set backfield, double tight end. Hence the quarterback stepping in under center. Hands off to the deep back this time, right into the middle of the line. Tough sledding this time. A couple of yards on the play. And Lane Taylor was the carrier. And a pickup. Like I say, just a couple of yards that time. Going to bring up third down from the Hall 42. Well, a fairly decent crowd remains. We did lose some of them at halftime, to be completely honest, but still a fair crowd remains. This time a receiver here to the near side right is Chris Crow. To the far side left is Damian Taylor. Single setback, double tight end formation. Inns back to throw. Back, here comes the pressure. Look out, he's going to be sacked for a big loss. Back inside the 50 to about the 48-yard line. And the tackle that time is going to be made by Chase Sterling.
That's where he will have to learn to just get rid of that. He looked he was going through his progressions or his reads, like they say in the NFL, but there was nothing there. He's either got to take off quicker or just get rid of it.
So a loss back to the Kewanee 49, and it's going to bring up fourth down. And about 12 and a half to go. And the Boilers, of course, will go for it here. Nothing to lose, that's for sure. From the spread, wides and slots on both sides. Inns the quarterback from the shotgun, takes the snap. Has time, looks to the right side, puts it up and over the top. We got a scramble here. And the ball is going to be intercepted. Chris Crow is back there, and that ball is going to be ripped away.
Yeah, he was battling for it and just lost the fight that time.
By David Loon is going to rip that ball away. The officials conferring. Not sure. Well, Hall's coming away pretty wound up, so I think they did get it. I think there was a little bit of debate about whether or not that ball had come out and hit the turf, but the official was right there and said no. And so back to the 24-yard line where the Red Devils will take over there, 1st and 10.
You know, on fourth down, Bob, that was actually no different than a punt.
Right.
The way it ended up.
Yeah, it was. So Hall goes to work there, 1st and 10. 5:31 here in the third. 38-0 is the Red Devil lead.
Erie Prophets down 29, Mercer County 8.
No, how times have changed over in Aledo. Wide receivers far spread on either side. From the shotgun, delayed handoff. They're going to come around to the left side here. It's going to be Curran. They're going to be pushed out of bounds here at about the 26, maybe the 27-yard line. Good defense by the Boilers that time, as the tackle is going to be made there by Robert Taylor. Nice job by him. And really not much on the carry. In fact, we're going to call it no gain at all, so 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, we were talking about looking for positives.
Well, we got a penalty, so it's going to remain 1st down. So it's going to be a 5-yarder against Hall to go back to the 19, where it's going to be 1st and 15.
I'm looking at the roster, and a lot of the names that we're calling quite regularly, I'll have a 10 behind them for sophomores. So that's a good thing.
Well, and on the fresh soft team, you do have some players there that are going to be making some contributions. So.
And arguably one of their better players, like we said, is not playing tonight, LaFala, with varsity experience already. So
1st and 15 for the Red Devils, wides on both sides. And a little bit of a delay here. They're going to try the counter, going back to the other way this time. It's going to be Jack Curran up to the right side, pushed out of bounds over there on the far side. Bodies flying.
That was a good hit.
Out at about the 30-yard line. Chris Crow getting the hit. Boy, the bodies were flying there. My goodness gracious. So we'll pick up out to the 29 and a pick up that time of about 10 for Hall. And it's going to bring up 2nd down and about 5 yards to go. Clock moving, 4.5 in the 3rd. Red Devils up big on the scoreboard, 38-0. Wide receivers on either side for Hall. Slot man to the left side. From the gun, delayed handoff inside. Look out, big hole. Off to the left side here. This time it's going to be Aiden Redoff. He just scored a minute ago down the left sideline. Look out. Is he going to take this one all the way in? And he does. Aiden Redcliffe will take that one 71 yards. And I don't see any flags or anything, so the score is going to count. And that's going to move it to a continuous clock with 4:07 here in the 3rd. Well, on the one hand, tip your cap to Aiden Redcliffe. He's got some speed there, and he went flying down that left sideline. That's the 2nd time they've scored on a very similar play. Unfortunately for the Boilers, nobody from the weak side coming over to seal it down. And it was just a matter of turning the corner. Once he hit the sideline and turned it upfield, it was all over.
He was gone, wasn't he?
Sure was.
Another missed kick.
Yeah, that kick off to the right side. For Hall, that certainly seems to be a little bit of an Achilles heel for them.
A little bugaboo there.
Yeah, Shelby Langham's actually got a good leg, but he's had a little bit of trouble with some accuracy here tonight. So 44-0 Hall with 4:07 left here in the 3rd. And again, it's going to be a continuous clock for the balance of this ball game. And that's really unfortunate. Well, Steve, I think you make a great point. Let's not lose sight of the fact you've got an awful lot of sophomores out there playing, even some juniors. You do have a couple of seniors, but mostly underclassmen. So,
unfortunately, they're just going to have to live through this.
Yeah.
You take what you can from it for the future.
Well, and this is why we say we're not going to sit around and bash them, but we're not going to try and, sell you a bill of goods. Boilermaker fans traditionally are good football fans, and they know good football when they see it. So we don't want to try and sell them a pig and a poke here and, lead them astray. And, again, we're not going to sit around and bash them. It's a tough season. There's no getting around it. But hopefully a learning season. And if you can learn from these type things and move forward, then that's not so bad.
Well, and they're going to hopefully have it in their heads how bad this felt. And they're going to hopefully want to do this to other teams in the next year or two.
Here's the kickoff all the way down to the 10. Damian Taylor out across the 25 at about the 26, maybe the 27, and he stopped on a dime there.
And especially these sophomores, Bob, because they're so used to winning. And, this is going to stick in their craw a bit because they're going to have lost more games in this first half of this year than they've ever lost before in their whole career since 6th grade. So, they'll bounce back. They will bounce back because I have seen some good things. It's just that they're kind of outmanned right now.
All right, 1st and 10 for Kewanee. from the Boiler 22-yard line. And again, we do have a continuous clock for the balance of this game. Now 44-0 Hall. Boilers breaking huddle. This time with wides and slots on both sides. Isaiah Ince from the shotgun. Takes the snap. Back to throw. Fires to the right side here. It's going to be off the fingertips and incomplete of the intended receiver. Looking out here for Josh DeWante. Coverage come over that time from Dylan Glenn. And, Steve, that's what kind of catches your attention there. The ball was a little off target, but what gets my attention is the defender was right there the whole time with the intended receiver.
Yeah, they're not getting any separation.
So incomplete. It'd be second down and 10.
And I think partially part of that is the Hall defenders don't have to worry about going too deep. I mean, they can stay up here on top of the receivers.
Unfortunately, that's a great point. Wide receivers, slot receivers on either side. From the shotgun, Isaiah Ince, single running back to his right. Looking to the left, now rolling out. Here comes a pressure. He's going to take off. Penalty flags down. Ince out of bounds on the far side. Out across the 25 at about the 27, maybe the 28.
Holding.
But holding going to be called here against the Boilermakers.
Weathersfield 35, Rushville Industry 14 in the fourth quarter. Pulling away a little bit.
Line of scrimmage now going in reverse. Back to the Boiler 17. Down to a minute 40 in the third, 44-0 in favor of Hall. And I won't say it's as ugly as the score would indicate, but it hasn't been pretty. I can also tell you that.
There you go.
Three receivers to the near side right, one to the far side left. Ince from the shotgun, running back to his right. Takes the snap, back to throw to the left side. Going to be caught out here in the flat at the 19 by Lane Taylor. Out across the 20 to about the 22, maybe the 23, where he gets out of bounds. And so, Boilers picking up a little bit in the way of yardage there, but it's going to be third and very long.
You'd like to be able to see him throw downfield, but I just don't think they have that in their arsenal.
Well, we've not seen so far the ability to create that kind of time.
That time or that kind of, to be able to throw it 30, 40 yards down the field.
Well, let's see what happens here on third down. They're so deep, if they don't get it on third, hard to imagine they'd go for it on fourth as deep as they are. But, again, nothing to lose. Three to the right, one to the left. Here's the throw to the right side through traffic. Going to be incomplete. They were looking for Lane Taylor. They had three guys kind of in that zone, and two of them are kind of lined up, but not able to make a connection there. So it will be fourth down. And again, with the continuous clock, that'll probably bring the third quarter to a close.
Decision time here, too, with fourth and, about 17?
Yeah, and as deep as it is, if you don't get it, you're probably handing Hall another touchdown. But
and I got to believe Hall's going to start subbing, too.
Yeah.
I already see a couple kids out there with different jerseys.
All right, that's the end of the third, 44-0 Hall. And the fourth quarter coming up here in just a moment or two. Steve, any other scores that you can pull out of your hip pocket there?
Let's see. I got a lot of scores here, but not. I think I actually saw where Stark County was leading. They were leading United like 27 to. Let's see if I can still find it.
And didn't Monmouth United come up and pound on somebody last week? I want to say
they could have.
I think they did. No,
I know Weathersfield. Anawan Weathersfield pounded on them.
Yeah.
So there's the Weathersfield, still 35-14. Stark County 27, United 16 in the third quarter.
Well, we get set for the start of the fourth quarter here, and unfortunately it's all Hall on the scoreboard right now, 44-0. And as we've said a couple of times, try and find your positives wherever you can. Unfortunately, there's not been a lot of them tonight. But let's see, maybe here in the fourth quarter, and of course they're going to go for it here. No, I beg your pardon, they will punt it away on fourth down. That is awfully deep. So the punt coming up here. High kick, kind of short. Takes a Boiler bounce up to about the 40. out across the 40, going to roll dead. I think they're going to say it's right at the 40 out of
Looks
bounds
like
over
you're
there.
correct.
So the Red Devils will take over there. They'll have fairly decent field position at that once again. So a matter of getting this one put away, hopefully not getting anyone injured in the process, and maybe picking up a couple of plays where you can kind of feel excited looking ahead to next week. Ball's at the Boilermaker 40. Red Devil football, and let's see if they start to bring in some other folks, as Steve suggests a moment ago. They're kind of deliberate getting out of the huddle.
And, you know, they know the clock's running, so they're going to take their time.
Remember back in the day before a lot of fields had the 25-second clock, I used to have to watch the official in the backfield for
counting
down
you see the
from
quarterback
the
stand and just watch that until his arm started going. Correct.
All right, for Hall, wide receiver left, double tight ends, quarterback from the shotgun, running backs on either side. There's the snap.
That is that a new quarterback?
It is, I believe, and we've got a penalty flag. I believe the new quarterback is Houston Yannick. Going to be a false start against the Red Devils. I think we're going to see a lot of substitutes here for Hall. So first and 15 for the Red Devils from the Boiler 45-yard line. Same formation. Everybody's taking off early here. It's going to be another 5-yarder against Hall. Another 5-yarder. Again, Houston Yannick is the quarterback, but you got a lot of new players out there, and you had two different players, a receiver and a lineman, both taking off.
Right. And you can see this little last 2 or 3 plays are kind of a microcosm of the whole game. Only this time it's going against Hall. They got the young guys in there and see the mistakes, and that's kind of where Kiwani's at the whole time, playing all those young guys.
Yeah, that's certainly the truth. First and 20 for the Red Devils from the midfield stripe. Wide receivers on either side. Yannick from the shotgun. They're going to hand off inside. Trying to the right side. And a good tackle by the Boilers that time.
I mean, 2 years from now, this will be the varsity game. These kids that are out here.
I believe there's Oswaldo Sanchez in on the hit. Also Juan Zepeda. And a pickup of about 4 yards that time for Hall. Down to the Boilermaker 46-yard line. Down to the 9-minute mark. Again, it's a continuous clock. And it's all Hall on the board, 44-0. For the Red Devils, wide receivers on either side. Tight end off to the left. There's the snap. Inside handoff this time. It's going to go to David Luna. And this one kind of
slipped.
Didn't really go anywhere. That's the second time we've seen somebody slip on the turf tonight. Kind of curious about that. It's not like it's real wet or anything out.
Well, I don't believe Hall has turf, so you're wondering maybe what kind of shoes they have on, at least some of them.
Yeah, that could figure into a good point. Wide receiver left, wide receiver right, slot man to the right side. Luna in motion now. He'll take the slot on the left side as well. Houston Yannick, the quarterback. Keeper tries to take it to the outside right. The defense will turn him back in. He cuts to the middle of the field, still on his feet. Inside the 40, he's going to be very close, and I believe he does have enough for the first down.
No, he got back to the original.
Oh, I beg your pardon.
Line of scrimmage.
You are correct. The hit that time.
4th and 10.
One of those phantom numbers that we don't have for some reason. All right, so it's 4th and 10 from the Boiler 40-yard line. Wide receivers on either side, slot men on either side. There's the snap. Quarterback keeper around the left side to the 35. Dodges inside, down near the 30, I believe. He's going to be just short of the first down, but it is very close. Keeper by the quarterback, Houston Yannick.
He's short of the. Looks like they're going to put him right on the 30, and if that's the case, he got it.
Very, very close, one way or the other. The officials are going to stop the clock here to do a measurement. Unfortunately, they don't spot that up here, and the clock continues to move. Boy, it's very, very close. They're going to bring the chains out to check things out there. Oh my, it's going to be just short.
Oilers stopped him.
And the Boilermakers hold on that one. Good for the Kewanee defense, and I tell you, it wasn't by much. But they did get the job done.
I'd like to see Chris Crow go on about a 70-yard run right here.
All right, I'm sure everyone else would as well. First and 10 for the Boilermakers from the Kewanee.
I just look at the difference in size there now from Hull's new younger kids that are in there.
You know, if the Boilers could get something here just to get that icky taste out of their mouth, give them a reason to have a little bit of a celebration. Let's see how it goes. Clock inside of 6. In fact, we're approaching the 5.5-minute mark very quickly. Boilers late to get on the field. And they're going to be real close to a delay of game.
I think they're going to call timeout.
Yeah, they're going to have to, yeah. They do. Otherwise, it would have been a delay of game. A bit of confusion. They just couldn't get everybody out on the field in time.
Yeah, all it takes is one player getting out there late. And that's what happens.
You know, Willie Terry and I called the freshman game the other night. He made a great point about offensive linemen. And, I know that this is your territory, so you know it better than anybody. But he said, you know, when you break huddle and you see those offensive linemen flying up to the line of scrimmage ready to go to work, you know they mean business. Mm-hmm. But if your linemen are just kind of walking up there, that's a whole different deal.
That's true. And Willie would know what he's talking about. He played there in college. And you see it all the time. And, I mean, and if you're defense and you see him, you know, kind of wandering up to the line like that, you say, hey, we got him. You know, whereas they fire up at you and they're ready to hit you as ready as you already hit them, you know, it's going to be a battle.
All right, let's see where it goes from here. First and 10 for the Boilers from the Kewanee 29-yard line. And this time they're going to try and bring it to the left side, trying to turn the corner this time. Not able to get it done, as Eli Dennison was the carrier. And the tackle made by Brody Bosey, and line of scrimmage to the 26, where
lost 4 yards.
It means a loss of 4 that time. It almost appeared to have a little bit of something in the tank, but that one was shut down as quickly as it started. And for the Boilermakers, Jaime Redilla back out on the field. Good to see him there. It looked like he might have had just a little bit of maybe a minor ankle tweak there for a moment, but back out there now. Good to see that. Wide receiver to the near side left is a tight formation. Flanker to the right side, I formation. And a handoff to the deep back. Nothing doing on this play. Nothing at all. Right into the middle of the line, and that play was stuffed. Redilla was the ball carrier. But
and very honestly, that's been the difference in the ball game all night, the lines.
Yeah.
I mean, Hall's line both ways, it just kind of overwhelmed Kewanee. Not on every play, but on a lot of plays, that's been the difference.
It really has been. At the 25, it'll be 3rd and 15 for Kewanee with 4:10 left in the game. And let's see here. You know, the Boilers can pull out. It would only take one nice long run to kind of turn things around a little. Another handoff right in the middle of the line. This one's going to go for another loss. And again,
you know, and I question that a little bit just because you'd like to, like you said, leave a good taste in their mouth, get something.
Jaime Redilla again on the carry. Pretty much the same play from a moment ago. Now you're facing 4th and 15 from the Boiler 25, and with the clock moving now inside of 3.5, you're down by 44. You have absolutely nothing to lose.
Looks like they're going to punt, or at least they're setting up that way.
Well, kind of does, yeah. Nobody back at all. Now somebody drops back for the Red Devils.
I think it surprised them a little bit, too.
You know, there's a nice deep kick. Wow. That's a nice kick all the way down inside the Hall 35. Going to roll out of bounds here at about the 33. Brody Bosey was deep to field that one, but again it sails out of bounds. And the clock continues to move. And so this one will be wrapping up shortly. We'll visit with the Boilermaker coach here in just a moment or two, a few minutes after the game. That'll be Matt Taylor. And try and get with Coach to see what he can say about all this. And he's in a tough spot. At the 33-yard line of Hall, the Red Devils will have it 1st and 10. Final 2.5 in the ball game. And for Hall, wide receivers on either side. Tight end off to the left side. Quarterback from the shotgun. That's Houston Yannick, and he's going to pass, or rather hand off, run around to the left side this time. As the carry by Jackson Weger. Weger up to the 34. Pickup of just about a yard, maybe 2. Actually going to spot it at a 36. So let's give him 2. It'll be 2nd down and 8 from the Hall 36-yard line. Well, credit the fans. Many of them did stick around. I mean, it's not quite as heavy duty as it was earlier in the game, but many of them did stick around. Wide receivers on either side.
It's a beautiful night out here, Bob. That's a beautiful night to watch football. Just wish it was a better outcome.
Yeah. Inside handoff for Hall. They're going to plow forward for a couple, maybe 3 yards. Boilers up there to stop that one defensively. And the tackle's going to go to Liam Slover. And the line of scrimmage now up to the Hall 33. And we're probably down to just a couple more plays in this one. Hall taking her time here. And slow to come out on the field now is Cameron Allison. Again, Houston Yannick has taken over a quarterback. They may not get this one off in time. Quickly to the line of scrimmage. There's a snap. It doesn't get much closer than that. And once again, they're going to try the left side with Jackson Weger. Boilers over there to shut it down. And that might be the final play of the game. Yeah, I think the game clock will run out before the 30-second clock.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah, everybody kind of, for the Red Devils, just standing there. They're not going to snap it. 44-0 is going to be the final on this one. Coach Matt Taylor of the Boilers will be up to visit with us here in just a little bit. And Steve and I will do our best to polish this one up for you. And it's now a final, 44-0. Everybody out to shake hands and say nice job.
And there's the final. Down to zeros on the clock.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, again, 44-0 the final. You folks that are at home, maybe listening, watching, I know Boilermaker fans are good football fans. They know good football when they see it. We're not going to try and sell you a bill of goods. This one really wasn't very pretty, to be completely honest. 44-0 Hall. Boilers had some moments here and there. Unfortunately, they didn't have enough of them.
Well, I think what sealed the deal, and you mentioned it when it happened, Kewanee actually came out with a couple of good plays to start the third quarter, then turned it over, and boom, 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 Hall got 3 quick touchdowns, and it went from 25-0 at half to 44-0, and that was the ball game. And got the running clock going, and this fourth quarter went really quickly.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was the case. As the Kewanee High School band marching down the track as they're headed back to the band room. I just saw Alex Binnick playing drums for the first time ever.
I think he could play a lot of instruments.
Yeah, well, apparently so, but boy, he sure his hands looked pretty quick handling those drumsticks. That was pretty impressive to watch that.
I think he kind of fills in wherever they need something, no matter what the instrument is.
Yeah. Well, I guess if you're the band director, you're kind of somewhat well versed.
Well, real quickly, did you see the band director from Princeton? He won four different days on Jeopardy.
Really?
The last 4 days.
Oh wow! No, I didn't know that.
He got beat. He was going for the fifth win, and to get him into the tournament champions, and he had to bet all his money, ended up with $1, and he lost. But still, he won like $57,000 in 4 days.
That's incredible.
Princeton was they were like celebrating him last Friday.
Oh well, yeah. There you go. You know, and with Jeopardy, where do they come up with some of these questions? You know, how many owls are there on Mars? I mean, and yet somebody knows the answer to this.
Yep.
You know, how many pieces of water in the Mediterranean Sea? Somebody knows this stuff.
Somebody knows it, yeah.
You know,
and that's what happened with him. Those first 4 days he sailed through, and you could tell that last day he had trouble with the topics. He just wasn't familiar with the topics, and that'd be the whole thing if you can get it locked in, and you know, that sort of thing, and it goes your way. But yeah, I don't know. Every once in a while, I'll get a question right in that situation. Well, you know, we'd like to pass along the scoring highlights, but they all belong to Hall. I don't know if early and often is correct, but early and often enough is. Well, and like I said, I gave they had 2 touchdowns each in the first 2 quarters, but then it was that blitz in the third quarter that just put it away after Kewanee started well, lost the ball, and then 3 quick touchdowns in the ball game was, for all practical purposes, you know. Well, it was over before, though, but it was really done after that.
Well, and I tell you, the Red Devils do have some weapons on their hands, but number 34, Aiden Redcliffe, watching him get loose out in the open field a couple of times as he came over here to the left side, kind of starting, you know, not really off tackle, but just outside the wing, and then cutting to the outside.
Kind of near the hash mark.
And then turning it upfield.
Yes.
And once he turns that corner and heads upfield, it's all over at that point.
And one thing you got to, you know, we already know it's a struggle for the Boilers, not going well. But the thing you got to worry about this is, and I quite honestly, I mean this sincerely, that this is probably Hall's last chance for a win. I mean, their upcoming last 4 games are tough.
No.
Not that they couldn't win one, but I don't think they'll be the favorite in any of them.
Well, probably not. For the Boilers, tough schedule remains. Next Friday, they head to Mendota. Back here in 2 weeks for homecoming with the Sherrard Tigers in town.
And both of those teams are winless, but they're playing tonight, so one of them will have a win.
Well, and then on Saturday the 18th, they head up to Sterling to take on Newman with a 1 o'clock kickoff there. And then back here on October 24th, the season finale, as it'll be senior night, and the Orion Chargers will come calling at that particular time. So this now puts the Boilers at 0-5. It'll move Hall to 3-2. So you figure 5 games in, the season is starting to deepen just a little bit. And, Steve, it's an age-old story for high school football fans. You know, it seems like it takes forever to get here.
And then
it just flies.
Flies by, yeah. Well, and that's just another challenge for a coach when he comes up here now. Not that they were going to get in the playoffs either, but now it's official. They're on 5.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going anywhere, so you got to do what you can with these last 4 games.
Well, that's the whole thing. Do you get any kind of traction moving ahead out of that whole situation? We'll see as it all moves ahead, but a rough one tonight.
Well, and I just want to say, you know, it's been tough for us, too, because we're Kewanee fans, and you want to see them do well, but we also kind of have a job up here to call it like we see it, and it's a struggle this year, and that's about all you can say.
That's so true. As I said previously, we're not going to trash and bash, and yet we're not going to try and sell you a bill of goods.
Well, I hope we didn't sound too negative, and that wasn't our intent. But, I mean, like I said, we can't, you know, put a coating on it either. You know what I mean? To make it sound too good. It was just, you know, not the greatest performance tonight, and just a struggling season so far.
Well, I've been in sports broadcasting. This would be my 25th year of doing sports broadcasting, and it's been a real passion of mine along the way. I've enjoyed doing it. And let's be honest, when you have a great team in a winning season, everything just seems to roll your way. It just goes, and you're almost running downhill with it.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get seasons where you struggle, it's hard to come up with a whole lot to say other than just what you see on the field.
Right.
And it's a little bit of a he's a little bit of a trudge, I guess, in that sense.
And I think that thing, you say where, good teams make their own breaks. I believe that, and then teams that aren't as good don't get the breaks. So, I mean, it's just I believe in that. I think that's really true.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Something about momentum can be a strange bedfellow, if indeed momentum is a bedfellow. But in any event,
or more like a bed bug.
Yeah. Well, what can we say about those things? Coach will be up in just a minute or so, but we would like to mention our Boiler Booster live stream sponsors here. Well, we have the opportunity. They include the Ed Morse Automotive Group, Chevy and GM of Kewanee. Also Hammond Henry Hospital, Geneseo and Kewanee. Union Federal Savings and Loan. Goods Furniture of Kewanee. The State Bank of Tulane. Gustafson Ford of Kewanee. OSF St. Luke Medical Center of Kewanee. Great Dane in Kewanee. The Community State Bank, Galva and Kewanee. Kewanee Physical Therapy and Rehab Specialist. Martin Engineering of Neponset. The Kewanee Schools Foundation. Also Edward Jones in downtown Kewanee. Cernovich's Auto and Truck Wrecking of Kewanee. The People's National Bank. Cerno's Bar and Grill and Coco's Coffee Shop, both in downtown Kewanee. The Mel Foster Company, and also Breedlove Sporting Goods in downtown Kewanee. Thanks to those wonderful sponsors for making all of this possible, and many of them also sponsoring the Jumbotron in the Brockman Gymnasium. If you've not seen that yet, it is a wonderful thing, and really a nice addition to the gymnasium.
I see Coach making his way up here.
All right, he indeed is on the way.
He needs my headset, correct?
That is correct, so far as I know.
Okay, I will let him have it.
All right. Well, as Coach gets ready to come up here, we'll visit with him and see what we can find from him. Again, a tough one on the scoreboard for the Boilers here at 44-0. And right now, Boilermaker head coach Matt Taylor joining us here. Coach, we appreciate you coming up to visit with us. And
yeah.
Matt, no way around it. Tough one on the scoreboard for you.
Oh, yeah. I've talked to the guys for the whole season. And, I just got done talking to them, and the other coaches are talking to them now. I don't know. We got to coach physicality, coach aggressiveness, coach some desire to get in another guy's face. And it's tough right now. We're not doing that.
Unfortunately, that is the case, and it was a little bit frustrating at times tonight because there would be a play here or there. Well, all of a sudden it seemed like your Boilers maybe had something going, and unfortunately something would happen, a fumble maybe, or penalties hurt you at times like that. But there were some plays here and there.
Yeah, there's always a couple highlights. I will tell you this. There were some others, but, Isaiah excuse me. Isaiah managed the game the best he could. Around him, he had some holdings, as you said, some false starts, illegal formation twice, a couple. I think we had a personal foul, and so forth. So you got it exactly right, Bob. If if we have some progress, and we had a couple drives, but if we 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, it doesn't equate to getting in the end zone.
No, and as you mentioned, you had some penalties, the holdings, the false starts, that sort of thing. Coach, it has to be particularly frustrating. You did have a couple of personal foul penalties out there. That's tough when that happens.
Yeah, the personal fouls. We're clearly. We usually. I think I'd have to look back at the tape. A lot's going on in my mind, but we usually, when a guy gets a personal foul, we bring him out of the game. I think we probably did that this year. I know we've been doing it all season just to make sure nothing escalates and we don't lose a guy for another game. So that's kind of the protocol. I just tell you that we're keeping it simple. We're running bellies, running dives, running sweeps, running powers. Some pop pass, some thunders, some stuff, and we're just not crisp and we're just not sharp. We got to be able to go on 2, and that failed tonight twice. We got to hold on to the ball. That failed tonight, I think, twice as well. And we just cannot we're not good enough at this point to overcome our mistakes, and that's proven itself the first 5 games of the season. So,
Coach, there were certainly miscues along the way, but one thing that Steve and I both felt up here in the booth, we did not see your guys quitting.
Yeah, the quit's not there. We keep a pretty good handle on them. You know, they're not quitting, but I will say the aggressiveness, the willingness, if you will, to go get physical with the guy across from you, it has to come from all 11 guys. And any coach and most fans know, if 11 guys are not playing together, it takes one and they go running down the field off tackle for 50, 60 yards. And that happened multiple times. So it's guys that are, yes, the rookiness, the youth. Well, we've got 5 games in the season. And so if you're a junior, you're in your last 4 games until you're a senior. So that has to stop to be an excuse. We've got to do our jobs and do them together, because in any defensive scheme, they all tie in together, which prevents long runs, big plays, and we just got to get 11 guys playing tougher and playing harder for 4 quarters.
Coach, I'm sure the guys are banged up. Anytime you play the game of football, you're going to be bumped and bruised. There's no question about it. At the same time, I did not notice any serious injuries tonight.
Yeah, a couple guys got, I think, some shins hit, but that happens in football. I will say this, shout out to Damian Taylor. He returned a lot of kicks tonight, for us, and he played as tough as anybody out there. So it was good to see Damian have a nice game. Eli Dennison played well at times. Both linebacker, and running back, and he had a long night too. He's on some of the special teams as well. So, and then the highlights, Chris Crow, still you can see his athleticism and what he can do at times. And we try to figure out how to get the ball to him a little bit more. So, we are dinged up from the beginning of the season. It'd be nice to have an Ace LaFollette and so forth. But I told the guys at halftime, no one's coming. This is it.
Yeah.
There's nobody's transferring in. This isn't the NFL. I tell them, look around. It's your buddy, your brother, or whatever you call your friend, and that's all you got. And that's who's here, and that's what's going to happen for the next 4 games. And we are going to continue. The coaches and I told the players before I came up here, we're going to still go at it every day. Come next week, and we're going to put a game plan together and watch film, and we're going to figure out how to beat Mendota. And then at that point in time, the guys have to put together, an 11-man effort for 4 quarters, and we can get a W. And I'm still confident this team's got some wins in them, but we have to definitely play better.
Yeah, because once you turn that, the momentum becomes a big deal on your side. But,
for sure.
In any event, Coach, appreciate you coming by to visit with us tonight.
Again,
Matt
and,
Taylor.
We'll get some players up here sometime.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, Mr. Osborne. So appreciate you guys.
Well, thank you, Coach. Again, Matt Taylor, the head coach of the Boilermakers, coming up to visit with us here. And, again, a tough one on the scoreboard tonight. 44-0 is the final on that one. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up our coverage here, if you will, as there's really not much more that we can add to this one on the evening. Certainly hope you've enjoyed the broadcast. Wish we had better news to pass along. But, again, the final on this one is 44-0 in favor of Hall Township. That's going to wrap up our coverage here tonight. Steve Osborne, my partner here at my side. Steve, great to see you tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us. We'll look forward to seeing you the next time.